are normal. Preparing to commence the first test, full-spectrum stealth performance. As the pilot reported, the radar screen at the ground command center displayed the representative light point of the Xianyao, which suddenly vanished without warning. What is happening? Did we lose the radar? A staff officer responsible for radar monitoring exclaimed, his fingers flying over the keyboard as he tried to reacquire the target. Switch to infrared detection mode. Activate quantum radar. Yet, regardless of their detection methods, the screen remained blank, as if the aircraft had never existed. Report. The optical tracking system has also lost the target. It cannot be visually observed. Simultaneously, the air defense forces stationed outside the airport relayed their own messages. Armed with binoculars and even high-magnification optical tracking devices, they scanned the direction in which the aircraft had disappeared, but other than the blue sky and white clouds, there was nothing to be seen. Is this absolute stealth? Commander Nye gazed at the empty radar screen, trembling with excitement. Not only did it evade the radar, but it also rendered infrared and optical methods ineffective. On the battlefield, the enemy wouldn't even know how they perished. Well done, complete full-spectrum stealth. Long Lao nodded repeatedly, his eyes filled with admiration. Next came the second test, hypersonic cruising and maneuverability. Xianyao 1, disengage stealth mode. Full-speed incursion. With the command issued, a deafening sonic boom erupted in the sky. The sound was so thunderous it felt as if the heavens were collapsing. The previously invisible black aircraft reappeared in view, hurtling through the sky at a terrifying speed that was nearly impossible to perceive with the naked eye. Current speed, 10 Mach. Still accelerating, 12 Mach. 15 Mach. Achieved maximum design speed. The voice of the data announcer in the command center trembled. 15 Mach. This implies it can traverse 5 kilometers in a single second. It would take less than an hour to fly from the capital to the American West Coast. Even more astonishing is that at such a velocity, the Xian bird still maintains remarkable maneuverability. Is this truly a bomber? Old Xian gazed at the telemetry data on the large screen, murmuring to himself, as if his understanding of physics was collapsing in that very moment. The final, and most crucial, test approached, the capability for near-space strikes. Xian bird 1. Activate the anti-gravity engine. Target, near space. Simulated bombing. The altitude numbers on the screen began to fluctuate wildly. 20,000 meters, 30,000 meters, 50,000 meters, 100,000 meters. Within mere minutes, the Xian bird broke free from the confines of the atmosphere, entering that dark realm accessible only to satellites and ballistic missiles. There, it opened its bomb bay and simulated dropping a precision-guided hypersonic glide warhead. Target hit. 0 error. As this result relayed back to the ground, the entire command center fell into a profound silence, soon erupting into thunderous applause. We did it. We achieved it. Commander Nye, overwhelmed with emotion, grasped Old Long's hand tightly. Old Long, did you see? We succeeded. True global reach. Global strike. From now on, the skies of this blue planet, even space, will be dictated by our Dragon Nation. Old Long, equally stirred, had tears of excitement shimmering in his eyes. The trinity of nuclear strike capability has always been the cornerstone of great power rivalry. While Dragon Nation had long been unrivaled in land-based missiles, it had always lagged behind leading powers in naval and aerial capabilities. However, today, with the emergence of the Xian bird, we have decisively filled this last gap, even achieving a leapfrog advancement, positioning ourselves at the forefront of the world. Excellent. Wonderful. Old Long exclaimed repeatedly, his joy evident. Chapter 435. Further discussion on the Southgate plan. At that moment, Commander Nye suddenly turned, looking at Old Long with a gleam of hope and flattery. Old Long, this aircraft is extraordinary. It's practically tailor-made for the Air Force. As the central battle zone, tasked with safeguarding the capital, we bear heavy responsibilities and pressures. Could we perhaps receive an initial allocation of around 100 units for trial? 100 units? Just for trial? Old Long's lips twitched in irritation as he shot him a glare. Do you think this is cabbage? 100 units? Why don't you just go and steal some? Heh, the military budget is a bit tight, Commander Nye replied with a sheepish grin. Just grant us a few requisition orders, perhaps even just 10 or 8 to start. Old Long shook his head helplessly, although he scolded him. He understood the importance of such equipment. All right, enough of this sob story. Go back and draft a detailed report explaining the reasons and intended uses. If it's reasonable, I will find a way to address the budget issue. Yes, thank you, Old Long. Your wisdom is unparalleled. Commander Nye immediately stood at attention and saluted, beaming like a blooming chrysanthemum. After dealing with Commander Nye's request, Old Long recalled a critical issue and turned to Yi Bai. By the way, Yi Bai, while the Xian bird is impressive, its cost must be considerable, right? What is the estimated cost price? Yi Bai pondered for a moment before providing a figure. The unit cost is approximately $2.5 billion US. $2.5 billion US. Both Old Long and Old Qian gasped in unison. This price is indeed staggering. To put it into perspective, America's most expensive B-2 Spirit bomber costs only about $2.4 billion US. The Xian bird is even pricier than the B-2. It's comparable to 12 units of the Chungying. However, upon reflection, the B-2 is based on decades-old technology, whereas the Xian bird integrates nuclear power, anti-gravity, and omnidirectional stealth into a single aerospace bomber. In terms of performance, not even 10 B-2s combined could compare. Expensive, indeed, Old Long mused, gazing at the returning black behemoth in the sky, a flicker of determination crossing his eyes. However, it is undoubtedly worth the investment. As long as it serves to protect our homeland, we shall spare no expense. Upon hearing the astronomical figure of $2.5 billion US per unit, Commander Nye, who had been elatedly fantasizing about forming a fleet of Xian birds, suddenly appeared crestfallen, his expression more miserable than a bitter melon. $2.5 billion still in USD? Commander Nye counted on his fingers, his lips twitching. That amounts to nearly 20 billion long yuan per unit. Even if we allocated the entire military budget of our central battle zone for a year, we wouldn't be able to procure many units. Initially, he had envisioned acquiring 100 units to form a strategic bombing squadron. Now it seems even assembling a squadron would require extraordinary luck. Sighing deeply, Commander Nye gazed at the slowly descending Xian bird, his eyes filled with the longing for what seemed unattainable. This is not merely an aircraft. It is a flying treasury of gold and silver. However, upon further reflection, he felt a sense of relief. Well, expensive things have their reasons. Even if we can only acquire a few, they will still serve as formidable deterrents, capable of traversing the skies and solidifying our national strength. Having them is better than not having them at all. As long as this marvel is deployed, who would dare to challenge our Dragon Nation? As the tests concluded, the crowd reluctantly departed the airstrip. Old Long patted Yi Bai on the shoulder. Yi Bai, the folks from Xinji Industries will be contacting you shortly. You must closely monitor the establishment of the new company, the setup of production lines, and the mass production plan for the Xian bird. Understood, Old Long. You can rest assured, Yi Bai nodded. Then, Old Long turned to Commander Nye, instructing, young Nye, arrange for an absolutely secure room. I have important matters to discuss privately with Yi Bai. Seeing Old Long's serious expression, Commander Nye recognized that the ensuing conversation would involve national secrets. He promptly stood at attention and replied, yes, I will arrange it immediately. 10 minutes later, deep within the underground command center of the central battle zone, in a specially reinforced room shielded from all electromagnetic signals, only Old Long and Yi Bai were present. Before their arrival, security personnel had already conducted 3 thorough sweeps with advanced detection equipment to ensure no listening devices were present. Old Long settled onto the sofa, took a sip of tea to moisten his throat, and then began to speak slowly. Yi Bai, with the emergence of the Chungying Mecha and the Xian bird bomber, our Southgate plan has officially taken its first step. At the mention of the Southgate plan, a fervent glint sparkled in Old Long's eyes. According to our initial vision and planning, this project encompasses a series of superweapon systems capable of revolutionizing the future of warfare. For instance, there is the true aerospace carrier, Luan Bird, which can freely traverse both within and beyond the atmosphere, carrying vast swarms of drones and high-energy weaponry. There are also the Xian Nu, an aerospace fighter capable of executing air superiority missions in all weather and regions, featuring exceptional maneuverability and stealth capabilities. Furthermore, we envision heavy mech battalions designed for ground combat, equipped with formidable firepower and protective capabilities, complemented by an intelligent command system. Old Long enumerated each conceptual name as if they were cherished treasures, each representing a force capable of altering the course of human history. Now that the Chungying Mecha is in place and the Xian bird bomber is set for mass production, we possess an increasing array of assets. At this point, Old Long paused, leaning slightly forward to look at Yi Bai. Thus, I would like to hear your opinion. Which project should we prioritize in our next phase of development? Should we first develop the Xian Nu aerospace fighter to complement the Xian Niao and form a complete aerospace strike system? Or should we directly pursue the ultimate goal and commence preliminary research on the Luan Niao aerospace mothership? As Yi Bai listened to Long Lao's words, his heart surged with excitement. The South Heaven Gate project. This is the ultimate dream of countless military enthusiasts in Dragon Country. Yi Bai pondered for a moment, ready to express his thoughts. However, Long Lao waved his hand, interrupting him. Hold on, There's an important decision to inform you before you respond. Given your remarkable talent and leadership demonstrated in the Xianyao project and prior significant research endeavors, including the Chang'e Mecha and Long Yuan passenger aircraft, after careful discussion and deliberation at the highest levels, we have unanimously decided to officially appoint you, Comrade Yi Bai, as the Chief Designer and Chief Engineer of the South Heaven Gate project. You will have full responsibility for the research, coordination, and implementation of all subsequent projects related to this plan. Boom. This declaration resonated in Yi Bai's mind like a thunderclap. Chief Designer, Chief Engineer. This position placed him above countless others, entrusting the very lifeblood of Dragon Country's future defense into his hands. Yi Bai was momentarily stunned, incredulous as he pointed to himself. Me? Chief Engineer? Is this appropriate? I am still so young, and my qualifications are lacking. Is this burden not too heavy for me? Can I handle it? What is inappropriate about it? Long Lao chuckled heartily, patting Yi Bai on the shoulder. Ambition knows no age. Those without ambition merely exist for a century. We old fellows have seen your capabilities with our own eyes. Furthermore, aside from you, who in Dragon Country, or even the world can manage this cutting-edge technology? So, no need for modesty. This responsibility is yours alone. Confronted by Long Lao's trusting and expectant gaze, Yi Bai took a deep breath. The initial trepidation instantly replaced by a surge of determination. Since the nation had the confidence to entrust him with this heavy responsibility, what reason did he have to hesitate? With the system in hand, the world was his. All right. Yi Bai straightened his back, his gaze resolute as he looked at Long Lao. Since you and the state have such faith in me, I shall accept the position of Chief Engineer for the South Heaven Gate project. Upon hearing this, Long Lao's face broke into a satisfied smile, nodding emphatically. Excellent. I knew you would be someone with a sense of responsibility. Now, Chief Engineer Yi, you may share your thoughts on our next steps. Yi Bai returned to the sofa, his fingers lightly tapping the table as his mind raced. The South Heaven Gate project was immensely ambitious, encompassing numerous revolutionary weaponry, although aided by the system. If we took too large a step and pursued something as formidable as the Luanyao aerospace mothership, the technological leap and resources required would be astronomical. One must take things one step at a time. Long Lao, I believe we should adopt a strategy of gradual progression, moving from the easier to the more challenging. While the Xianyao bomber and Chang'e Mecha have already been developed, this is merely the beginning. Before we unveil true, game-changing weapons, we must first refine the foundational components of our combat system. For instance, we could focus on the individual combat system or develop small, unmanned combat platforms. Currently, while the Chang'e Mecha is powerful, it is a heavy piece of equipment, lacking in flexibility and stealth, and its high cost makes it difficult to proliferate among all soldiers. Thus, my suggestion is to develop an exoskeleton power armor as our next project. Exoskeleton power armor? Long Lao's eyes sparkled with interest. You mean something like in science fiction films that allows the wearer to become immensely strong and move swiftly? Precisely, Yi Bai nodded. Compared to the Chang'e Mecha, the technical challenges of the exoskeleton armor are relatively lower, and the costs are more manageable. This technology could significantly enhance the load-bearing capacity, mobility, and protection of individual soldiers, enabling ordinary troops to possess combat capabilities comparable to special forces. Moreover, this is a crucial precursor technology for the anti-G forces of the Xianyao aerospace fighter pilots. Only by solving the challenges of enhancing human physiological functions can our pilots withstand the terrifying overloads of aerospace fighters. Long Lao nodded thoughtfully, his eyes filled with approval. That makes sense. If the foundation is weak, the entire structure is at risk. Elevating the quality of individual soldiers is indeed urgent. How long do you think it will take to present a concrete proposal and prototype for this exoskeleton armor project? This question posed a challenge for Yi Bai. He instinctively glanced at the system panel. Having spent nearly 900 million shock points on the Xianyao's modification plan, only a little over 300 million remained. Although the concept of exoskeleton armor sounded simple, it was considerably more complex than the Chang'e. The shock points were definitely insufficient. After all, the Chang'e had consumed 300 million. Cough, cough. Yi Bai cleared his throat, not directly providing a definitive timeline. Long Lao, this project involves numerous intricate aspects of human engineering and micropower systems, and I need to go back to plan thoroughly and review some materials. How about this? 3 days. I will provide you with an accurate response and a preliminary design proposal in 3 days. 3 days? Long Lao was somewhat surprised. So soon? Don't you need more time to prepare? 3 days will suffice, Yi Bai replied confidently with a smile. In truth, he was thinking about the impending visit of King Anaklas in 3 days. At that time, If he could showcase some skills in front of that wealthy king and generate some sensational news, wouldn't the shock points flow in like a river? With sufficient shock points, developing the exoskeleton armor would be a matter of mere moments. All right, 3 days it is. Long Lao quickly agreed. I will await your good news. Very well. Long Lao, you may continue with your tasks. I shall take my leave, Yi Bai said, rising to bid farewell after their official discussion. Upon returning to the office of the Black Technology Factory, Yi Bai slumped onto the sofa, staring at the mere 300 million shock points remaining on the system panel. Lost in thought. While this amount was insufficient for any grand endeavors, it could not be left idle either. Yi Bai stroked his chin, his fingers unconsciously tapping the armrest. Rather than waiting for King Anaklas to come and offer an opportunity, perhaps it would be better to take the initiative and create something new. After all, aside from the Long Yuan passenger aircraft, the offerings from Long Yuan Group were a bit thin. Yi Bai's gaze fell upon the progress bar in the system task list. Current permission level, B. Conditions to upgrade to level A. Complete modifications on 10 vehicles of B rank or above. Current progress, 310. Only 7 more B rank vehicles were needed to upgrade his permissions. The path ahead was long and arduous. Yi Bai sighed. Since aircraft had been largely explored, and even a strategic bomber had been developed, perhaps it was time to switch tracks. How about vessels? With this thought, Yi Bai's eyes suddenly lit up. The technical complexity of aircraft was far superior to that of yachts or ordinary vessels. If aircraft could be transformed into aerospace bombers, then surely vessels could be modified too. Chapter 437. Let us develop a super yacht. If we could create a super yacht, or even repurpose old decommissioned battleships and destroyers into something like deep-sea phantoms or maritime fortresses, wouldn't that be absolutely stunning? Even if acquiring a warship proves elusive. Repurposing a larger ocean-going fishing vessel into a multifunctional marine operation platform remains an excellent alternative. The more I contemplate it, the more feasible it seems. Yi Bai promptly resolved to reach out to Commander Niao upon his return, seeking assistance in identifying a suitable vessel for practice. With the state backing us, it should be relatively straightforward to procure a ship for exploration, provided it isn't an aircraft carrier. Just as Yi Bai became engrossed in his splendid vision of the age of discovery, his encrypted red phone in his pocket suddenly buzzed to life. He snapped back to reality, retrieving his phone to discover an unfamiliar encrypted number. Hello, who is this? A calm, competent middle-aged voice responded from the other end. Greetings. Is this Yidong? I am Zhao Weidong, the executive president of Xinji Industrial Group, on the orders of Old Long and the higher-ups. I am here to report directly to you and oversee the specific operations and management of the new company. Oh, President Zhao, greetings. Yi Bai straightened in his seat, recognizing that someone appointed by Old Long would undoubtedly be trustworthy. You may call me Old Zhao, no need for formalities, Zhao Weidong replied respectfully. The purpose of my call is primarily to discuss the subsequent work arrangements and provide an update on our current progress. Go ahead, Yi Bai prompted. Firstly, regarding the company structure, Xinji Industrial has successfully assembled its core team. The R&D department, which you will personally lead, has established 6 divisions focused on aviation, mecha materials, power, and more, with heads selected from the top experts at various military research institutes. For the production department, we have taken over several existing military production lines and are currently modernizing them as per your specifications. The security department is directly overseen by an enhanced battalion from the Snow Wolf Special Forces to ensure absolute safety. In addition, concerning the Kunpeng Transport Aircraft project, we have completed all handover procedures with Long Yuan Group. All relevant personnel have signed the highest level confidentiality agreements, and the entire production line for the Kunpeng has been transferred under Xinji Industrial. Yi Bai nodded in satisfaction. Impressive efficiency. What is our current production capacity? Are the subsequent production plans for the Chongying Mecha and Kunpeng transport aircraft in place? Zhao Weidong replied. The production line for the Chongying Mecha is running at full speed, currently achieving a monthly output of 50 units. As for the Kunpeng transport aircraft, due to the complexity of the processes, our current monthly output is limited to around 8 units. However, with the new production line coming online, we anticipate that next month's output could double to 16 units. 8 units is still a bit slow, Yi Bai remarked with a frown. However, it is understandable, given the scale of the project. Quality takes time. Let us expedite the process to achieve combat-ready capabilities as soon as possible. Understood. We will do our utmost. Zhao Weidong paused before continuing. By the way, Chief Yi, there's another matter. Our project team, after conducting in-depth research on the Kunpeng transport aircraft, has attempted to design a downgraded version. A downgraded version? Yi Bai's interest was piqued. Indeed. By limiting engine power, simplifying the avionics system, and removing certain core stealth coatings, we have developed an export version of the Kunpeng. Its maximum speed has been restricted to subsonic, and both its flight altitude and stealth capabilities have significantly diminished. Yet it remains superior to the mainstream transport aircraft currently available in the international market. We initially intended it as a technological reserve and do not have plans for external sales at this time, as such strategic equipment remains sensitive for export. Upon hearing this, Yi Bai's mind sparked with an idea, and a wry smile crept across his face. An export version? A downgraded version? This is tailor-made for the wealthy and foolish. He thought of the soon-to-visit king of Anaklas, a figure synonymous with affluence and indulgence. The prospect of marketing this behemoth to him was almost too delightful to imagine. Old Zhao, this export version proposal is excellent. Very forward-thinking. Don't rush to archive it. Please organize the materials and send them to me. Perhaps I can secure our company's first substantial contract. After ending the call with Zhao Weidong, Yi Bai barely had time to quench his thirst before his phone vibrated once more. This time, it was Yuan Tong. Hello, Yi Shun. Good news. Yuan Tong's voice brimmed with excitement. His Majesty King Anaklas's private plane will arrive at the international airport in the capital tomorrow morning. After his official meeting with our nation, the king has specifically arranged time to meet with you to discuss future cooperation. Tomorrow? Yi Bai raised an eyebrow. No problem. I will be there on time. By the way, can I live stream this meeting? Live stream? Yuan Tong hesitated for a moment, then chuckled. Of course. His Majesty's visit to China is already a topic of great interest, and there will be a press conference, making it a public event. If you wish to live stream, it could serve as excellent publicity for us. That's great. Yi Bai sighed in relief. As long as we can live stream, we're in business. Once the stream begins, leveraging His Majesty's immense popularity and wealth, combined with our cutting-edge technology, will surely amplify our impact. By then, not only will I be able to provide a response to Old Long in 3 days, but I could even present the design blueprint for the exoskeleton armor right on Old Long's desk. Agreed, it's settled then. See you tomorrow. After hanging up, Yi Bai felt elated. However, just as he prepared to rise and check on the factory's progress, he suddenly slapped his forehead, recalling an important matter. Oh no. I was so engrossed in discussing dreams and passions with Old Long that I completely forgot about the most crucial aspect, funding. Undertaking a project like the Nanchaman Plan requires a budget of several hundred billion or even trillions. How could I forget to beg Old Long for money? Yi Bai scratched his head in frustration. Well, it's forgotten now. Regardless, I am quite fortunate. Xinji Industrial has the state's backing, and Long Yuan Group is a cash cow, generating wealth daily. If necessary, I can temporarily reallocate funds from these two companies. Besides, isn't there a major investor arriving tomorrow? If I can secure a significant deal, funding should not be an issue. With that thought, a smile crept onto Yi Bai's face. He picked up his phone, adeptly opened the Douyin app, and crafted a new post. Chapter 438. The King of a Small Nation meets Yi Bai, overcoming numerous challenges? Tomorrow noon, I will introduce you to an old friend. His Majesty King Anaklas is visiting China, and the day after, we will share lunch while discussing a small business venture concerning a new type of firefighting equipment. The entire event will be live-streamed, so don't miss it. As soon as this post was published, it ignited a sensation across the internet. As one of the most sought-after national treasures and scientists in both Longhua and the world, every move Yi Bai made captured the attention of countless individuals. What the heck? Yi Shun is up to something again. This time, he's dining with the King of Camels. Firefighting equipment? I can't believe that. I still remember that firefighting drone that took down an armed helicopter. What new weaponry could this be? Could it be the sale of the Kunpeng transport aircraft? After all, the Camel Kingdom is notoriously wealthy, and they wouldn't hesitate to spend if the product is good. Isn't that a bit far-fetched? A strategic weapon like the Kunpeng? The government wouldn't just sell that casually. Even a downgraded version would be unlikely. I think it might just be some drones from Yunxiao Technology. After all, the Yinglong mothership has already been sold. Maybe this is an upgraded version? No matter what is sold, if it's produced by Yi Shun, it is guaranteed to be top-notch. Looking forward to tomorrow's live stream. Observing the speculations of netizens, Yi Bai chuckled silently. What will I be selling? Hee. You'll find out soon enough. This time, I shall unveil to the world what it truly means to be a genuine arms dealer. On the third morning, Yi Bai, still enveloped in slumber, was abruptly awakened by the insistent ringing of his phone. Groggily reaching for his device, he discovered it was Yuan Tong once again. Hello. It's quite early for this, Yi Bai yawned. Yi Shun, help. Yuan Tong's voice on the other end resonated with palpable urgency. We have arrived at your factory, but we cannot get through. Cannot get through? Yi Bai was momentarily taken aback, his mind becoming considerably clearer. What is happening? Isn't there security at the entrance? Can't you just reveal your identities? If it were ordinary security, that would suffice, but the ones blocking the road are fully armed special forces. Yuan Tong lamented, his frustration evident. We can't even reach the entrance. It's a fortress, with guards stationed every few steps. Not even a fly could pass. As soon as we approached the perimeter, we were met with drawn weapons. Realization dawned on Yi Bai. I apologize. I forgot to inform the guards. Please hold on. I will call the security personnel. Outside the gates of the high-tech factory, a convoy of luxurious vehicles awkwardly halted several hundred meters away from the entrance. In the center of the procession, a bulletproof extended limousine housed King Enokras of the Camel Kingdom, who, dressed in a flowing white robe and adorned with a golden headpiece, curiously peered out at the heavily armed soldiers outside. Beside him, Yuan Tong was visibly anxious, clutching his phone as he awaited news. Your Majesty, I sincerely apologize. The security measures have been upgraded at Yi Shun's location, and we must wait a moment longer, Yuan Tong cautiously explained. Enokras waved his hand dismissively, his expression shifting from annoyance to one of excitement. It's quite all right. Such stringent security is a positive sign. What does this indicate? It shows Yi Shun's standing in the Dragon Kingdom is even higher than I imagined. It signifies he possesses something of even greater importance. This is fortuitous for me, indeed. At that moment, a soldier approached briskly, saluted the convoy, and signaled for passage. However, clearance did not imply immediate entry. All individuals within the vehicles, including the esteemed king, were required to disembark for an exceedingly thorough security check. Professional pat-downs, meticulous scans with sophisticated instruments, even the undercarriage and engine compartment of the vehicles underwent exhaustive inspection. Enokras complied, arms outstretched for examination, his mind racing with astonishment. In just a few months, what monumental developments had Yi Shun orchestrated to warrant such formidable protection from the Dragon Kingdom? It seemed I have made the right decision in coming here. Enokras silently clenched his fist. The last time they met, he was merely a prince, constrained by the sensitivities of diplomacy and internal affairs, unable to procure the truly remarkable items he coveted, nor could Yi Bai sell them. But now, the scenario was transformed. He was the legitimate ruler of a nation, wielding significant power and wealth. Should Yi Bai be willing to sell, he would exhaust his treasury to acquire those life-saving technologies that could fortify his nation. Yi Shun, I hope this time you do not disappoint me. Once the checks were completed, the convoy finally began to advance towards the gates of the high-tech factory. Gazing at the colossal structure, Enokras inhaled deeply, his eyes ablaze with the fervor of desire for acquisition. In the top-level reception area of the high-tech factory, Yi Bai casually adjusted the angle of his phone stand, ensuring the lens captured the entire meeting space before skillfully commencing a live broadcast. Almost instantaneously, the viewer count surged at an alarming rate, with comments flooding in like a flurry of snowflakes. The missing person returns. Yi Shun has finally remembered his account password. Is this what the legendary high-tech factory looks like? It appears quite ordinary, akin to an office. What do you know upstairs? This is the epitome of subtlety. Besides, isn't the emphasis on who is arriving today? I heard today is the king of the Camel Kingdom. That's a true top-tier figure. Is Yi Shun about to make a sale? Let us maintain decorum, shall we? What sale? This is for world peace, selling firefighting equipment. As the viewers reveled in playful banter, the heavy door of the reception area slowly swung open. Clad in a white robe and his signature headscarf, Enokras entered, flanked by a cadre of bodyguards. However, upon reaching the entrance, he dismissed all attendants, striding purposefully towards Yi Bai. Despite his exalted status as a king, the moment he beheld Yi Bai, his regal demeanor evaporated, replaced by a near childlike humility and excitement akin to a younger person meeting an elder. Yi Shun, it is a pleasure to see you again, Enokras exclaimed, hastening forward, extending his hands to grasp Yi Bai's firmly, his posture profoundly deferential. It has been exceedingly difficult to arrange this meeting. Merely passing through the external security checks required overcoming 5 formidable barriers. Yi Bai, seated casually on the sofa, did not rise to greet him but merely smiled lightly, his demeanor unruffled, as if standing before him was not a monarch wielding global oil power, but rather an ordinary individual. This scene broadcasted live ignited a frenzy among online viewers. Wow, Yi Shun is impressive. The king stands while he sits. The king extends his hand while he remains nonchalant. This is grandeur. This is what it means to be unparalleled. Regardless of status, when they arrive here, the dragon must coil, and the tiger must lie low. Look at Enokras's expression. It's as if he has encountered a long-lost father. How can he not be affectionate? Without Yishen's firefighting equipment, he would likely be eating sand in the desert right now. Seemingly aware of the camera, Inokris paused briefly, then quickly adapted, waving at the lens with a warm smile. Greetings to the viewers of the Dragon Kingdom, I am Inokris. This revelation sent the chatroom into a complete uproar. A living king. He can even speak Chinese. This king is approachable. He genuinely cooperates. Greetings, esteemed king. How many orders are you planning to place today? Oh, I mean, how many billions? After pleasantries, Inokris settled onto the sofa opposite Yi Bai, leaning slightly forward, his expression turning serious. Yi Shan, I have come not only to reminisce, but primarily to express my gratitude in person. Without the exceptional firefighting equipment you provided, I would not have so easily dealt with my two ambitious brothers, nor would I have been able to stabilize the domestic situation so swiftly and ascend to this position. Inokris spoke subtly, yet all present understood the gravity of his words. Those were no ordinary firefighting tools. It was the equipment supplied by Yunxiao Technology that had empowered his guards to dominate on the battlefield, leading to his present kingship. Thus, he dared not adopt the airs of royalty before Yi Bai. He was his benefactor and the cornerstone of his future reign. Not at all. We are partners, after all. Benefiting mutually, Yi Bai waved his hand, donning a benevolent expression. Moreover, our mission at Yunxiao Technology is to eradicate fires worldwide, whether they stem from natural disasters or warfare. All fall within the realm of our firefighting equipment. Indeed, Inokris affirmed eagerly. Inoklas nodded repeatedly, echoing like an eager schoolboy. After taking a deep breath and leaning in closer, he lowered his voice and said, Lord Yi, since we are old friends, I shall not conceal my intentions. I have come here with sincerity and a mission. I have received official approval from the Dragon Kingdom to procure a batch of genuine heavy-duty equipment from you, specifically powerful weaponry. As he spoke the word weaponry, a fervent light sparkled in Inoklas's eyes. The previous firefighting equipment had been formidable. If he could acquire real weapons this time, he would be unstoppable. Yi Bai was taken aback. Official approval? It appeared they intended to unleash their ambitions and orchestrate a grand scheme. At that moment, the red secure phone on the table suddenly rang. Yi Bai glanced at the caller ID and answered without hesitation. Hello, this is Yi Bai. On the other end, a calm yet serious voice belonged to the head of the department responsible for foreign military trade review. Comrade Yi Bai, regarding King Inoklas's procurement request. After careful consideration by the higher-ups, it has been officially approved. In principle, we can sell him some equipment with stronger defenses and higher technological content, such as the Dragon King firefighting platform you developed or similar firefighting facilities. Of course, we must maintain our usual low profile and peaceful principles, as you understand. Yi Bai's lips curled into a slight smile, a glimmer of amusement in his eyes. Understood, all for the sake of world peace. After hanging up, before Yi Bai could speak, his personal phone vibrated again. This time, it was Zhao Weidong from the Divine Machine Industrial Group. Chairman Yi, I've just received an urgent notification from the higher-ups. Zhao's voice was laced with barely contained excitement. Approval has been granted for the foreign trade of the Kunping transport aircraft. Although it's the modified version we previously developed, this is unprecedented. The higher-ups instructed that since the king of the Camel Kingdom is with you, see if you could, perhaps, promote it casually? The implications of these two consecutive calls were abundantly clear. The state was giving him the green light, urging him to generously support this wealthy individual. Yi Bai set down the phone, gazing at the expectant Inoklas, whose eyes gleamed with the anticipation of wealth. His smile brightened even further. Your Majesty, it seems fortune truly favors you. Yi Bai gestured toward the phone, his tone laden with significance. Just a moment ago, I received notification that, given our excellent friendship and your contributions to world peace, we can discuss the Dragon King platform and even potentially a large aerial firefighting transport aircraft that is capable of swift travel and substantial cargo capacity. King Inoklas leaned forward, his hands fidgeting restlessly, reminiscent of a child eagerly awaiting their new year's money, his voice brimming with impatience. Lord Yi, since approval has been granted, what treasures might I procure from you this time? Yi Bai leisurely sipped his tea, moistening his throat before responding at a measured pace. In principle, any product produced by Yunxiao Technology is available for purchase. However, as you are aware, certain items involve core secrets. Yi Bai waggled a finger. Therefore, any special models under exclusive supply contracts with the military cannot be sold at this moment. However, Yi Bai shifted his tone. Given our long-standing cooperative relationship and your outstanding contributions to world peace, I can offer you a special arrangement. First, the Longyuan I supersonic passenger aircraft. I know your region has many wealthy individuals who prioritize travel efficiency. although current orders are scheduled until the year after next. I can authorize a privilege for you to cut in line for priority delivery. Hearing this, Inoclus's eyes lit up, though it was evidently insufficient to satiate his appetite. Observing his reaction, Yi Bai unveiled a true game-changer. Moreover, and most importantly, you can order the latest foreign trade version of the Kunpeng strategic transport aircraft directly from our Divine Machine Industrial Group. We've designated it the code name Giant Whale for foreign trade. Although it is a modified version with some sensitive stealth coatings and extreme speed modules removed, its payload capacity and global deployment capabilities remain among the world's finest. It is perfectly suited for transporting your firefighting equipment. Really? King Inoclus sprang from the sofa, his face alight with astonishment. This is fantastic. Truly fantastic. He paced excitedly in the reception area, expressing his delight. Lord Yi, you have no idea. Ever since I became king, I've been troubled by the towering figures in the treasury, my hair nearly turning white. I want to purchase quality items. Yet those from Angsa either refuse to sell or offer me outdated junk. I can't even spend my money as I wish. Now, however, he exclaimed, finally, I can buy whatever I desire. At last, my money has found a place to go. Watching the king's extravagant display, Yi Bai felt a wave of exasperation wash over him, his forehead adorned with beads of sweat as he suppressed a twitch at the corners of his mouth. Listen to this. Is that even a legitimate concern? Troubled by not being able to spend money? The millions of viewers in the live stream were equally stunned, the comments flooding in with incredulity. What did I just hear? Troubled over not being able to spend money? Is this the simple yet tedious life of a wealthy individual? Lord Yi, while I would love to profit from your wealth, your words make me want to punch something. You simply cannot reason with these affluent folks. I suggest you transfer this worry to me. I am unbothered by it. Is this the disparity in our world? I am struggling to save a few cents, while he is lamenting over billions he cannot spend. Meanwhile, Yi Bai's peripheral vision caught a glimpse of the system panel. Ding. Shock value, 5,000. Ding. Shock value, 8,000. Ding. Shock value, 12,000. Just Inoclus's extravagant remarks alone had skyrocketed Yi Bai's shock value by millions in under a minute. This wealthy individual was indeed his lucky star. Once the excitement subsided, Inoclus returned to the sofa, producing a diamond-encrusted black card from his pocket and slamming it onto the table. Lord Yi, since we can buy, let us not dally. How much for this foreign trade version of the Kunpeng, or rather, the Giant Whale transport aircraft? Please, name your price. When it came to pricing, Yi Bai's expression shifted slightly, his mind racing. The cost for the Kunpeng sold to the state for personal use was around 2.4 billion dragon coins, as it was for national defense, with ongoing maintenance costs. However, selling to foreign trade, especially to a wealthiest individual like Inoclus, warranted a different approach. Despite the modifications lowering costs, this was a monopolized venture, adding technical premiums, brand premiums, along with expedited fees and friendship taxes. It would be illogical to sell it for just 2.4 billion. After some calculation, Yi Bai felt doubling the price was reasonable. He slowly extended a hand, displaying 5 fingers, intending to quote a price of $500 million. After all, this was merely a transport aircraft, albeit a modified version. And 500 million already seemed exorbitant, far exceeding domestic prices. However, before Yi Bai could speak, in front of him, Inoclus gazed at the 5 fingers, his brow slightly furrowing as if engaged in some form of mental preparation. After a moment of hesitation, he spoke with a hint of trepidation. 5 billion? Is it truly worth 50 billion? Inoclus smacked his lips, a pained expression flickering across his face, revealing his discomfort. Yi Shun, while I do possess some wealth and am genuinely interested in purchasing, isn't 50 billion a tad excessive? Cough, cough, cough. Upon hearing the figure of 50 billion, Yi Bai immediately erupted into a fit of violent coughing, nearly choking on his own saliva. His eyes widened in disbelief, staring at the innocent-looking monarch before him as if he were an extraterrestrial. What? Are you speaking such outrageous words? I was thinking of 500 million. And you jumped straight to 50 billion. 50 billion. And you consider that somewhat pricey? I am truly astounded. Is this the measurement unit of the affluent? Yi Shun's gesture clearly indicated 500 million, yet you escalated it to an astronomical figure. Is this the legendary? I make an offer, and you raise the price? Those upstairs should not be envious. The fact that he finds 50 billion excessive indicates he understands the market, which is absurd. 50 billion for a plane could buy my life. Brother upstairs, you overestimate your worth. Your life isn't that valuable, according to current standards. You are merely worth 3,000 a month, and that's before tax. This is heartbreaking, my friend. Warning, emotional breach. Yi Shun, enough chatter, help me up. I could still sell 10 more. Finally managing to quell his cough, Yi Bai looked at Anaklis, who wore an expression of acceptance despite the exorbitant price, and felt a surge of elation. This was no mere client. This was a veritable benefactor. However, in business, one must tread carefully. If one were to carve too deeply, it could frighten the customer away or lead them to believe they had been deceived, resulting in a greater loss. $50 billion per unit? If such a price were to leak, it would surely send the heads of Boeing and Airbus racing to seek his expertise. Yi Bai inhaled deeply and shook his head fervently, fearing a misunderstanding, shaking it as if ringing a bell. No, Your Majesty, you have misunderstood. What I meant was. As he spoke, he quickly extended his other hand, forming a gesture for 2, merging it with the previous 5. I meant to say 25 billion. Yi Bai spoke earnestly, attempting to salvage his nearly unscrupulous image. The audience in the live stream erupted in laughter at this spectacle. Ha! He still has one hand unextended. Yi Shun, I initially intended to quote 500 million, but since you are so gracious, I shall weep and accept 25 billion. This maneuver deserves full marks. Not only did he save face, but he also effortlessly quintupled the price. Yi Shun's quick reflexes are commendable. His mind indeed races with brilliance. That 5 was undoubtedly 500 million. Yi Shun has cleverly turned it into 25 billion. This is true commercial genius. Upon announcing the price, Yi Bai's mind raced once more. Given that the figure had escalated from his initial expectation of 500 million to 25 billion, it seemed only reasonable to enhance the product's performance slightly. After all, in our Dragon Nation, business ethics dictate fairness. One gets what one pays for. 25 billion. Yi Bai stroked his chin, pondering. The original export version of the giant whale was intended to be stripped of its supersonic cruising capabilities, retaining only subsonic flight. However, since the funds were substantial, a modest enhancement seemed justifiable. Achieving a breakthrough to around Mach 1 would still position the offering ahead in the current international arms market while remaining within the realm of reason. After all, they were spending 25 billion. Your Majesty, given this price of 25 billion, the performance of our giant whale transport aircraft will undoubtedly be worth every penny. First, regarding speed. Yi Bai raised a finger. Although we have limited its maximum speed for safety and stability, it still possesses the capability to break the sound barrier. Its maximum cruising speed can reach Mach 1. This means that in emergencies, your fire brigade could arrive at the scene faster than others' fighter jets. Secondly, in terms of stealth capabilities, we have retained a perfect optical stealth system, making it completely invisible to the naked eye. As for radar stealth, while it only achieves half the effectiveness of the proprietary version, it is still sufficient to mask itself from the majority of conventional radar signals on the market. Unless one is under the relentless scrutiny of advanced phased array radar, it would likely remain undetected. Lastly, there has been no compromise in cargo capacity. It is still in its prime condition. It can carry 200 tons of cargo with ease. The only slight drawback is that the range has been reduced by 1/3. Yet it remains sufficient for numerous round trips within your country without the need for refueling, still achieving a global leading standard. After hearing Yi Bai's presentation, King Anaklis' eyes widened, his mouth agape in disbelief. A Mach 1 supersonic transport aircraft. It is also optically stealthy. The load capacity remains unchanged. I initially thought 25 billion would only procure a somewhat decent transport plane. To think the performance is this astonishing. A supersonic transport aircraft. This was once an unimaginable marvel. To acquire such a remarkable asset for 25 billion. King Anaklis' voice trembled with excitement as he looked at Yi Bai, his gaze akin to that of a person witnessing a benevolent philanthropist. The viewers in the live stream were equally astonished. Good heavens, 25 billion for a stripped-down version. And you feel it's a bargain? Your Majesty, let us indulge a bit. Don't let Yi Shun lead you astray. To be fair, this performance at 25 billion is indeed reasonable. Even Boeing dares to charge several billion for their subpar products. This is the disparity in information. Yi Shun tearfully profits 20 billion while the king believes he has struck a deal. At that moment, Yi Bai seemed to recall something and added, "Oh, by the way, Your Majesty, I mentioned 25 billion, that unit." Yi Bai intended to confirm the currency unit, fearing that this affluent individual might be calculating in dragon currency, necessitating further clarification. However, before he could finish, King Anaklis waved his hand grandly, exuding an air of understanding, and answered exuberantly, "Oh, Yi Shun, you needn't clarify. It must be in U.S. dollars. I am aware of that. In international arms trading, there is no reasoning with other currencies. 25 billion U.S. dollars per unit. This price is fair. Quite fair indeed. I will order 20 units. Let us make it an even $500 billion. Let us sign the contract now. Yi Bai, the entire audience in the live stream exclaimed. What? 500 billion US dollars. 25 billion US dollars for each unit. And you ordered 20. That's 500 billion just like that? This affluent individual truly spends like it's nothing. Is he treating US dollars as if they were Zimbabwean currency? Yi Shan, I initially meant to refer to dragon currency, but since you were so insistent, I shall reluctantly accept. This is a moment where Yi Shun wishes to act reasonably, yet the other insists on being a benefactor. Is this the realm of the wealthy? 25 billion US dollars considered fair? I find even $25 for takeout exorbitant. After bidding farewell to the extravagant benefactor, Yi Bai stood before the expansive windows of his cutting-edge factory, watching King Anacles's grand convoy slowly depart, and couldn't help but reflect. This is what true friendship looks like. A visit to the Dragon Kingdom not only alleviated his financial anxieties, but also allowed him to exceed his shock value goals. Although King Anacles had departed, his journey was merely commencing. As a sovereign ruler, he still had to meet with various department heads of the Dragon Kingdom, signing a series of agreements regarding energy, infrastructure, and a colossal 50 billion procurement contract for a giant transport aircraft. Of course, such tedious diplomatic matters were not something Yi Bai needed to concern himself with. Yi Bai withdrew his gaze and eagerly summoned the system panel. Host. Yi Bai, current shock value, 6857888953, gazing at the lengthy string of zeros. Yi Bai nearly burst into laughter. 680 million. He had initially thought that after revamping the Xin Niao, he would endure a period of financial strain, but unexpectedly, King Anacles's timely assistance had made him overnight wealthy, grateful for the cloud-piercing arrow from his old friend. No, he must thank His Majesty the King for the shock value. In high spirits, Yi Bai turned to the live streaming screen on his phone. The chat room was still abuzz with excitement as netizens discussed the recent 50 billion deal. Alright, everyone, today's live stream concludes here. After discussing a small business deal, I'm feeling a bit fatigued and need to rest. Make sure to sleep early. We'll meet again next time. Without waiting for the viewers' reactions, he swiftly disconnected the live stream. Is he done already? I haven't even taken off my pants. Ye God, that was too fast. Is this what they call a quick exit? Apart from making money quickly, he also ends the stream just as swiftly. Truly a heartless man. A small business deal? 50 billion is considered small? Ye God, I bow to you. This is the style of Ye God, finishing matters and retreating, concealing his accomplishments and reputation. After shutting down the live stream, Yi Bai did not actually rest. Holding 680 million in funds, it would be a sacrilege to not swiftly convert it into combat power. System, enter the laboratory. With a thought, the familiar virtual laboratory unfolded before him once more. Next up was the external skeletal mech for the South Heaven Gate project. Chapter 442, the Xingtian Individual All-Terrain Exoskeleton Armor System. If every ordinary soldier could be equipped with high-performance exoskeleton armor, transforming them into super warriors with immense strength, agility, and the ability to carry heavy firepower, the combat effectiveness of the Dragon Kingdom's army would elevate to an entirely new dimension. System, initiate a new project. Project name, Xingtian Individual All-Terrain Exoskeleton Armor System. Xingtian, the ancient war god, with eyes of milk and a navel for a mouth, wielding a halberd symbolizing an indomitable fighting spirit. This name is perfectly suited for the exoskeleton armor. As the project was established, Yi Bai began inputting specific design requirements into the system based on his conception of the South Heaven Gate project. First, the power system must be robust. Utilizing a micro-high-energy solid-state battery pack, it should sustain at least 72 hours of operation, supporting wireless fast charging and battlefield emergency recharging. Next, load-bearing capability. The wearer must maintain sprinting speed and agile tactical movements, even while carrying a load of 100 kilograms. Soldiers should effortlessly carry heavy machine guns and anti-tank missiles for solo assaults. Regarding defense, critical areas must withstand direct fire from a 127mm caliber machine gun. An active defense system should also be included to intercept incoming rockets and grenades. Finally, it must possess all-terrain adaptability, whether in mountainous regions, jungles, deserts, or urban ruins. It should navigate as effortlessly as walking on flat ground. Furthermore, it should integrate a battlefield situational awareness system, transforming each soldier into a digital node. As Yi Bai articulated his requirements, the data streams on the system interface surged wildly, with countless intricate mechanical structures and circuit diagrams rapidly materializing on the light screen. Moments later, a cold electronic voice echoed. Ding. Based on the host's requirements, the optimal research and development plan has been generated. Plan codename: Xingtian Individual All-Terrain Exoskeleton Armor System. Estimated shock value consumption: 500,000,000 points. Estimated time: 3 months. Upon seeing the staggering figure of 500 million, Yibai couldn't help but gasp, momentarily speechless. 500 million? In 3 months? This was merely for a single soldier's exoskeleton. One must remember that the previous Chang'e Mecha and Xianyao bomber, while expensive, were not at such an exaggerated level. It seemed that every project of the South Heaven Gate was indeed a true money-eater. If the future project could host countless aircraft on this platform, even capable of engaging in space warfare, how much shock value would that require? How long would that take to develop? 10 billion? 100 billion? Perhaps even more? However, upon reflection, Yibai felt a sense of relief. After all, the South Heaven Gate project represents the pinnacle of future military technology. A genuine ladder enabling the Dragon Kingdom to ascend from earthly civilization to interstellar civilization. A higher intrinsic value is only to be expected. Confirm research and development. Yibai hesitated not a moment and clicked to confirm. Although he had just spent 500 million, causing his recently swollen wallet to deflate by more than half. Leaving him with only 180 million, the prospect of realizing Xingtian made it all worthwhile. After arranging the system's research and development tasks, Yibai did not pause, but instead retrieved the red confidential phone and dialed Commander Nie's number. Hello, Commander Nie. It's me, Yibai. On the other end. Commander Nie seemed to be in a meeting, the background somewhat noisy, but upon hearing Yibai's voice, he immediately became enthusiastic. Yibai, what is up? Did that king leave? I heard you struck a big deal. 50 billion. You're quite impressive. Commander Nie evidently had received the news, his tone brimming with excitement. Ahem. That was a small deal, nothing to mention. Yibai modestly replied, then quickly got to the point. Commander Nie, I need your assistance with something. I want to acquire a ship, preferably an old warship or a large vessel with a substantial displacement and sturdy structure for a minor modification. A ship? Commander Nie clearly paused, his voice rising a few octaves. You've become so formidable that you can even get a ship now. Though he was well aware of Yibai's multifaceted genius, this leap across disciplines was rather extensive, from mechs to aircraft, and now to warships. It seemed he intended to encompass land, sea, air, and space. Just a bit of knowledge, Yibai humbly chuckled. Commander Nie remained silent for a moment, seemingly contemplating feasibility. Ships are manageable. We have plenty of decommissioned warships in the Navy, and many are stored away. It's entirely possible to allocate one for your experiments. However, Commander Nie's tone shifted. Your high-tech factory is located in the suburbs of the capital. That's inland. Even if I manage to get a ship for you, how can it be transported there? I can't just have a warship disassembled into parts and couriered to you, can I? Yibai, upon hearing this, was also taken aback. Right. He had been so focused on acquiring a ship that he had forgotten about the geographical constraints. The capital wasn't by the sea, and moving such a large vessel was indeed impractical. Commander Nie, could you help me find a location by the sea? Yibai tentatively inquired. I just need a larger dock or a closed port, as long as it's safe and confidential. Commander Nie pondered for a moment and readily agreed. That's easy. We have numerous secret naval bases and docks in both the eastern and southern war zones. Choose a place you like, and let me know. Whether it's east or south, just say the word, and I'll file a report immediately. I am confident that with your current standing, coupled with the recent achievement of earning the nation a staggering $50 billion, General Long will undoubtedly grant you the necessary authorization without hesitation. At that point, it won't just be a vessel. If you were to request an aircraft carrier fleet for protection, they would likely consider it. Upon hearing Commander Nie's commanding words, Yibai couldn't help but be astonished. This is what it means to be treated as a national treasure. Want to procure a ship? The state would directly allocate you a port. Well then, I must express my gratitude to Commander Nie. Yibai, feeling no need for formality, promptly agreed. As soon as I select a location, I will notify you immediately. After hanging up, excitement gleamed in Yibai's eyes. With the ship's issue resolved, it was time to contemplate how to modify it. Yet, less than half an hour had passed, and before Yibai could fully settle from his excitement, the red secure phone on his desk rang urgently once more. Upon answering, Commander Nie's voice resonated through the line. Yibai, I've successfully arranged everything for you. I just reported to the higher-ups, and General Long has given his full approval. Not only has your request for a vessel been sanctioned, but a secret naval dock in Tianjin has also been specially allocated for your use. Chapter 443, Long Eagle 5 Medium-Range Multi-Purpose Drone. This facility was initially designated for submarine repairs, equipped with comprehensive facilities and high confidentiality, and conveniently located near the capital, facilitating your commutes. However, while the location and ship have been secured, considering your advanced technology factory, modifying the vessels will undoubtedly require specialized equipment and production lines. What do you need? Please provide me with a list, and I will have the engineering core and relevant manufacturers expedite delivery and installation. Upon hearing Commander Nye's words, Yi Bai's mind stirred. Although a dock had been secured, it remained merely an empty shell. To conduct modifications as freely as within the advanced technology factory, appropriate advanced equipment was essential. Ordinary industrial machinery could not meet the precision and specialized processing requirements of the system's blueprints. Commander Nye, please hold on for a moment. I need to check some information. Yi Bai found an excuse, promptly closed his eyes, and his consciousness plunged into the system space. System. Please search for construction plans for advanced technology factories aimed at large vessel modifications. Ding. Searching. Search successful. Construction plan for Intelligent Ship Modification Center generated. Upon completion, it will enable intelligent and automated modifications for vessels over 10,000 tons, achieving results equivalent to the host's current advanced technology factory. Estimated consumption of shock value, 50,000,000 points. 50 million? Yi Bai gazed at this figure, a sigh of relief escaping him. Fortunately, this amount was considerably modest compared to the billions typically required for equipment development, although he currently had only 180 million left. Investing 50 million to establish a branch base was undoubtedly a lucrative venture. Commander Nye, there's no need for a list. Yi Bai picked up the phone again. His tone relaxed. I have a ready-made factory construction plan here, complete with blueprints and equipment specifications. All you need to do is arrange for the construction and procurement according to this plan. As for the core equipment, I will send the blueprints to the Divine Machine Industries to expedite production and delivery. Understood. Commander Nye readily agreed. Send the plan over, and I will immediately arrange for the engineering corps to commence work. The personnel will work in shifts without interruption, ensuring the dock is completed within a month. A month? Yi Bai nodded. This speed is astonishing, considering it's a high-tech dock renovation, not merely assembling building blocks. I appreciate your efforts, Commander Nye. After ending the call, Yi Bai sent the construction plan generated by the system to Commander Nye through a secure network. Observing the dwindling shock value on the system panel, now down to 130 million, Yi Bai couldn't help but feel a pang in his heart. Money truly doesn't last. Although the buzz from King Anaklas' side continues to escalate and could potentially yield tens of millions more in the coming days, even approaching 200 million, it remains a drop in the bucket. Clearly, I need to devise a grand scheme to generate more shock value. Sitting in his executive chair, Yi Bai lightly tapped his fingers on the table, lost in thought. What should I modify? Military equipment, while impressive, carries high confidentiality levels. And having just completed the Xian Bird and Kunping projects, embarking on another significant endeavor could provoke excessive international reactions, hindering my ability to amass wealth discreetly. Civilian modifications? The Longyuan passenger aircraft has already been released. Modifying a yacht or sports car might generate profit, but it would lack the desired impact. Suddenly, a spark of inspiration flashed in Yi Bai's mind. Of course, since I've modified a large aircraft, why not create a smaller one? A drone. In today's logistics industry, despite its advancement, companies like Shunfeng and Jingdong still rely on slow, cumbersome rotary wing or small fixed-wing drones, which are limited in payload, speed, and endurance. If I could develop a supersonic, high-capacity, and stealthy unmanned transport aircraft, it would surely be a bestseller. Selling it to domestic courier companies would enhance logistics efficiency, allowing customers to receive their packages sooner, benefiting the nation and the people. As for the stealth feature, Yi Bai smirked mischievously. If I were to sell it to those neighboring countries south of America, like certain specialty merchants in Mexico, or to some large agricultural enterprises nearby, providing them a supersonic, radar invisible drone would be beyond imagination. With this newfound direction, Yi Bai wasted no time and picked up the phone to contact Wang Jiangwo of Longyuan Group. Hello, old Wang. It's me, Yi Bai. Yi Dong. What instructions do you have? Wang Jiangwo's respect had only grown as Yi Bai's ventures became increasingly formidable. It's nothing major. Please arrange for a drone to be sent to the Advanced Technology Factory. A drone? Upon hearing Yi Bai's request, Wang Jiangwo paused momentarily. Yi Dong. What type do you require? One for aerial photography like DJI? No, that's too small. Yi Bai shook his head. I need a fixed-wing model, something larger. Ideally, an older, simpler, and more durable design, such as an early retired model of the Rainbow 3 or Wing Long 1, or a civilian twin-tailed Scorpion. While unsure of Yi Bai's intentions, Wang Zhengwo complied. In truth, both Long Yuan and Divine Machine exist solely to serve Yi Bai, and he was well aware of his role. Understood, Yi Zong. Our group happens to own a general aviation company with a few retired Long Eagle 5 medium-range drones in storage. Originally used for geological exploration and forest fire prevention. They may be a bit outdated, but their performance is still decent. Perfect. That's the one. Yi Bai decisively confirmed. Have them delivered to me first thing tomorrow morning. The following morning, a truck carrying a Long Eagle 5 drone, stripped of its wings and covered in canvas, slowly drove through the gates of the Advanced Technology Factory. Observing the somewhat weathered drone, Yi Bai rubbed his hands together, a flicker of excitement in his eyes. He then skillfully summoned the system. Ding. Scanning complete. Target vehicle, Long Eagle 5 medium-range multi-purpose drone, current level, B grade, status, structure intact, some parts aging, modifications possible. A B-grade vehicle, splendid. Yi Bai nodded in satisfaction. With a solid foundation, it was time for a comprehensive overhaul. First, the power system. Given that this is for parcel delivery, cost control must be the top priority. The current fuel prices are exorbitant, and the necessity for frequent refueling renders it inefficient. After all, both Suanio and Chongqing have already employed micro-cold fusion reactors. The technology has matured, so why not implement it here as well? Chapter 444, poised to revolutionize the entire courier industry. By employing nuclear power, we could achieve limitless endurance. This not only eliminates the time and cost associated with refueling, but could also drastically reduce shipping fees. At that point, national free shipping would be a reality. And global free shipping would no longer be a dream. Moreover, Yi Bai's lips curled into a slight smile. If this technology were to be sold to those engaged in smuggling local specialties, the infinite endurance would allow them to bypass all conventional patrol routes, flying as they please. Next, speed. Presently, while courier services in the Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai regions are relatively swift, achieving delivery in 3 days or even the next day, sending parcels to the western provinces still takes several days and incurs high shipping costs. This is unacceptable. We must enhance the speed. We need to ensure that deliveries nationwide, regardless of remoteness, are achieved by the next day or even the same day. Furthermore, it must be cost-effective. Since we are dealing with drones, we need not consider the physical limitations of pilots, so we can push the boundaries. Supersonic. It must be supersonic. A cruising speed of at least Mach 3 or 5 is essential. Finally, stealth capabilities. Although these are delivery drones, to prevent interception by malicious competitors' anti-aircraft missiles, stealth functionality is indispensable. We should incorporate full-spectrum stealth skin and a plasma stealth field. However, to avoid overwhelming astonishment, the foreign trade version could be slightly toned down, just enough to deceive conventional radar. As Yi Bai articulated his ideas, the data streams on the system interface surged once more. Moments later, a familiar mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Ding. Based on the host's requirements, the optimal modification plan has been generated. Plan code, supersonic nuclear-powered unmanned transport aircraft. Core Module 1. Miniature fission fusion hybrid power pulse detonation engine. Utilizing a compact nuclear power source, this module provides near-infinite endurance. Paired with a pulse detonation engine, it enables all-weather, all-domain hypersonic flight, achieving a maximum cruising speed of Mach 5, with speeds exceeding Mach 8. Core Module 2. Intelligent Swarm Logistics System. Equipped with an AI sorting and deployment system, it allows for aerial precision delivery with an error margin of no more than 1 meter. Core Module 3. Adaptive Stealth Coating Electronic Countermeasure Pod. The aircraft surface is coated with smart color-changing materials that can adaptively alter color based on the environment, achieving optical invisibility. An internal electronic warfare system can simulate bird or cloud signatures to deceive enemy radar and even reverse burn interference sources. The expected consumption of shock value for this modification, 150,000,000 points. Do you confirm the generation of the plan? Gazing at the modification plan before him, particularly the staggering consumption figure of 1.5 billion, Yi Bai felt a twinge of pain, yet excitement prevailed. After a night's time, the shock value had risen by over 50 million, returning to 18 million, 150 million, although this would deplete more than half of his hard-earned savings. This is nuclear-powered, supersonic technology. Furthermore, once this invention is unveiled, it will truly transform the logistics industry. Confirm. Let us proceed with the modification. With a decisive wave of his hand, Yi Bai unhesitatingly pressed the confirmation button. Out with the old, in with the new. This investment is undoubtedly worthwhile. For the following month, Yi Bai immersed himself in the creation of the drone, oblivious to the world outside. Time flew, and soon it was mid-January 2026. Outside, the cold wind howled, and heavy snow fell, with merely half a month remaining until the most significant traditional festival, the Spring Festival. The entire nation was enveloped in a bustling pre-festival atmosphere, households preparing for the new year, and red lanterns adorning streets. Deep within the high-tech factory, Yi Bai set down the last debugging panel, gazing at the drone that had undergone a complete metamorphosis, exhaling deeply with a satisfied smile. Finally completed, the drone now bore no resemblance to its former self. The once bulky body had transformed into a sleek, elongated form, cloaked in a matte silver-gray finish. The wings adopted a variable sweep design, ensuring lift at low speeds while accommodating the needs of hypersonic flight. This is the true courier marvel. With it, in the future, even if we drag in country folks by something from afar, we can expect same-day delivery. After admiring his creation, Yi Bai took out his phone, skillfully opened Douyin, and posted a new update. Brothers, Happy New Year! To ensure everyone can enjoy shopping without worrying about delivery disruptions during the festive season, I have prepared a New Year's gift for you all. 3 days later, the Longyuan Group's new product launch conference. Don't miss it. This will be a game-changing tool for all courier companies across the nation and even the world. Almost simultaneously, Yi Bai dialed Wang Jiangwo of Longyuan Group. Old Wang, get ready for a press conference in 3 days. This time we won't be vague. We will directly engage all logistics giants. SF Express, JD Logistics, the 3 Links and 1 Reach, and even international companies like FedEx and UPS. Send them all invitations. Tell them that those who do not wish to be left behind by the times should hurry. Wang Jiangwo was already accustomed to Yi Bai's sudden initiatives. Yet the mention of engaging all global courier companies still sent a shiver down his spine. Understood, Yi General. I will arrange it immediately. Soon. The Longyuan Group's official website displayed a striking countdown poster for the press conference. The background featured a mysterious aircraft partially concealed among the clouds, with a brief yet powerful tagline, redefining speed, making the world within reach. Once the news broke, the internet erupted once again. It had not been long since the last Kunpeng launch, and Yi Bai's name had become synonymous with trending topics. Any minor event could generate immense attention. Speculation about this new product surged to the top of various social media platforms. Wow, is Yi got up to something again? This time, it's for courier companies? From the looks of the poster, it must be an aircraft. No doubt about it. If it were firefighting equipment, it would definitely be released under the name of Yunxiao Technology. Since it's the Longyuan Group, it must be something airborne. Could it be the legendary supersonic delivery aircraft? Don't be ridiculous. Supersonic delivery? What would the shipping cost be? You buy a 999 yuan phone case, and the shipping would be 999? Not necessarily. Yi God never plays by the rules. Perhaps he can bring the costs down. I think we shouldn't get our hopes too high. If it were something particularly formidable and related to military secrets, it would have been commandeered by the state long ago, and there would be no chance for us to see it publicly sold. Chapter 445, Nuclear Power? Supersonic Stealth? Indeed. Look at the previous releases. Weren't they all shrouded in secrecy? If they dare to hold a press conference, it must be purely for civilian use. And the performance is likely just average. Counter to the previous speaker, Yi God currently holds an official position, with a major rank. If it's genuinely remarkable, it would have been commandeered the moment it was developed. We wouldn't even have a chance to see it. Regardless, Yi God's creations are always top-notch. Even if it's civilian, it will undoubtedly outperform current market products. The discussions online were fervent, with everyone holding differing opinions. However, one consensus emerged among all. There was immense anticipation for the remarkable tool Yi Bai was about to unveil. Even if it is merely intended for courier services, everyone believes that under Yi Bai's stewardship, it can undoubtedly deliver something remarkable. Just as he hung up the phone with Wang Jiangwo, before Yi Bai could catch his breath, the red secure line on the table rang once more. Upon answering, the voice of Commander Nye came through. Yi Bai, I have splendid news for you. The secret dock at Jingang has been completed. The equipment is now fully tested and ready for use at any moment. The old warship you requested has already been brought in. It's just waiting for you to showcase your talents. That's wonderful. A glimmer of joy flashed in Yi Bai's eyes. The completion of the dock meant he could begin the transformation of the old warships sooner than expected. The breakthrough of A-level permissions was within reach. Thank you for your hard work, Commander Nye. Ah, it's nothing. Commander Nye's tone shifted, laced with a hint of curiosity. By the way, I just saw online that you're planning another press conference. Is it aimed at courier companies this time? What kind of grand treasure are you unveiling? People online are speculating whether it's a supersonic courier aircraft. Is that true? Hearing Commander Nie's inquiry, Yi Bai hesitated for a moment. Although he intended to sell the drone to courier companies for both shock value and profit, it was, after all, a piece of advanced technology. And he felt it appropriate to keep the military informed. Actually, it's nothing much, just a drone, Yi Bai replied nonchalantly, as if discussing a trivial matter. I made some modifications to the power system, switching it to a miniature nuclear power source, essentially a scaled-down version of what the Xianyao used. This will save on fuel costs and reduce delivery expenses. Additionally, to enhance efficiency, I increased its speed slightly. It can now cruise at supersonic speeds. As for stealth, I've incorporated optical and radar invisibility. After all, if it encounters a robbery during delivery, having both forms of stealth could mitigate unnecessary troubles and enhance security. A profound silence fell on the other end of the line. After a prolonged pause of 5 to 6 seconds, Commander Nia's incredulous voice finally broke through. What did you just say? Nuclear power. Supersonic. Equipped with both optical and radar stealth. You call this a courier drone? Commander Nia's voice escalated dramatically, prompting Yi Bai to hold the receiver a bit farther away. Yi Bai, do you have some misunderstanding about the term civilian use? Such an extraordinary creation, with such monstrous capabilities, and you didn't contact me immediately? You actually intended to use it for delivering parcels. Do you realize what this means? It implies that this drone could fly undetected to any corner of the globe, potentially carrying a nuclear warhead for a suicide attack. All without the enemy suspecting a thing. If this information leaks, what will happen? Confronted by Commander Nia's outburst, Yi Bai appeared somewhat innocent. No, Commander. This is intended for civilian use. Look, it doesn't have weapon mounts, and the cargo hold is simply for parcels. Why would I need to contact you? Moreover, the nuclear power and stealth technology have already been utilized in the Xianyao and Chang'an. It's not new technology. That is completely different. Commander Nia felt his blood pressure rising, wishing he could somehow reach through the phone line to see what was going on in Yi Bai's mind. The Xianyao is a manned strategic bomber. Chang'an is a mech. This is an unmanned drone. While our military does possess the stealth drone Model 11, it operates on conventional power, has limited endurance, and only reaches subsonic speeds. And you, on the other hand, have nuclear power with unlimited endurance and supersonic speed. We don't even have this in our military arsenal, and you dare to tell me it's for civilian use. You've already developed something we haven't even had the chance to touch? Yi Bai was taken aback, somewhat surprised. Oh, you don't have it? Weren't you given ample technical data on the Kunping and Xianyao? With so many experts at Lonka Institute, didn't anyone think to adapt that concept to create a drone? Even if you were to scale down the Xianyao, remove the cockpit, wouldn't it just be a nuclear-powered stealth drone? Upon hearing this, Commander Nia could not resist rolling his eyes dramatically. You make it sound easy. Is it just building blocks? Altering a drone's flight control system, adapting a small nuclear reactor, and applying stealth materials. All of these require extensive research and testing. Not everyone can whip up a nuclear-powered drone in a month like you do. Feeling somewhat embarrassed by Commander Nia's critique, Yi Bai sheepishly rubbed his nose. It seemed he had overestimated the current pace of technological transformation and underestimated the level of advanced technology involved. Suddenly, Yi Bai realized a serious issue. Wait, Commander. Are you suggesting that you intend to requisition this drone? On the other end, Commander Nia confidently replied, of course. Such an impressive piece of technology. Nuclear power. Supersonic speeds. Stealth capabilities. This is undoubtedly a strategic reconnaissance and attack drone platform. How could we possibly allow it to be used for courier services? What if a foreign spy acquires one? Or if that FedEx company buys it? What if they turn it against us? So, there's no negotiation. The military will take this drone. Cancel your press conference, pack it up, and I'll send someone to collect it. Not again. Yi Bai was truly taken aback. Back when he was in the Southern Theater, that old rogue Long Hantian was constantly eyeing his inventions, eager to requisition even a pin for the military. He had thought that now, as a national treasure with an elevated status, he would be free from such antics, only to find Commander Nia, with his thick eyebrows and large eyes, engaging in similar highway robbery. Commander Nia, this is unacceptable, Yi Bai argued over the phone, his tone filled with reluctance. Chapter 446, a definitive strategic level strike drone. I've already announced it. Millions across the internet are watching. Posters are plastered on every street and alley. Everyone knows Longyuan Group is unveiling a groundbreaking delivery marvel. And now you suddenly tell me to requisition it and cancel the press conference? This not only embarrasses me, but also tarnishes the reputation of Longyuan Group, who would trust our press conferences in the future. Besides, This is meant to enhance domestic courier efficiency, a beneficial initiative for the country and its people. How can it not be for civilian use? Listening to Yi Bai's complaints, Commander Nye felt a bit overwhelmed. Indeed, Yi Bai's current standing was different from before, and Longyuan Group was a key enterprise supported by the state, making credibility paramount. If he were to suddenly backtrack and let down the public, it would be a difficult situation to explain. Yet, it was a nuclear-powered stealth drone. Hang on. Don't rush. Commander Nye tried to calm him down. I understand this is challenging for you. Let me consult with my superiors and see if we can find a middle ground. Wait for my update. With that, Commander Nye hung up the phone. Listening to the busy tone on the line, Yi Bai sighed in resignation, slumping into his chair. Sigh. Why is it so difficult to simply create a civilian aircraft and earn a bit of profit and prestige? In this day and age, anything with a hint of advanced technology seems destined to be requisitioned. Fortunately, the wait was not long. Merely a few minutes later, Commander Nye called back. Yi Bai? Good news. Commander Nye's voice carried a sense of relief. After careful consideration, the higher-ups have, in principle, agreed to allow your press conference to proceed as planned. However, Commander Nye's tone shifted, becoming serious once more. Regarding the standards for the external sale of this drone, it is imperative that we adhere strictly to the established guidelines. Firstly, for the versions sold to domestic courier companies, both the optical and radar stealth systems must be entirely dismantled. In our country, couriers do not require stealth capabilities. They can operate openly and confidently. Given the unique demands of domestic logistics and the necessity for cost control, the nuclear-powered engine and supersonic cruising capabilities may be retained. After all, it is flying within our own airspace, which is safe and controllable, thereby significantly enhancing efficiency. Secondly, if the drone is to be sold abroad, Commander Nye paused, his tone growing more severe, then it must undergo extensive modifications. Not only must the stealth systems be removed, but the nuclear power and supersonic capabilities must also be eliminated. The propulsion system should be replaced with conventional fuel, and speed must be limited to subsonic levels. We cannot allow such strategic technology to fall into foreign hands, even for civilian use. Upon hearing Commander Nye's stipulations, Yi Bai felt a twinge of regret, but had no choice but to accept. Very well. As long as it can be released and sold to domestic courier companies, I shall be content. Yi Bai sighed, feeling somewhat disheartened. At least the shock value is assured. After discussing the sales standards, Commander Nye seemed to suddenly recall something and casually inquired, by the way, what is the estimated cost of this nuclear-powered drone? After pondering for a moment, Yi Bai responded with a figure, approximately $5 billion. The cost of a miniature nuclear reactor is substantial, and no matter how much optimization occurs, it cannot be dramatically reduced. $5 billion? That is acceptable, Commander Nye murmured, seemingly calculating how many units the military might procure. Then, as if suddenly regaining focus, his tone shifted abruptly, filled with excitement. There is also a directive from above that I must convey to you. What directive? Yi Bai asked curiously. Concerning the Xianbird space strategic bomber. The higher-ups have decided to publicly showcase it at this upcoming press conference. What? Yi Bai was taken aback, his eyes widening in disbelief. The Xianbird. That is a genuine strategic weapon, and it will be unveiled. It is known for its anti-gravity capabilities, omnidirectional stealth, and near-space strike abilities, a true deterrent on a global scale. Such a weapon is typically kept under wraps and revealed only at critical moments. Surprised? Commander Nye chuckled, a confident air emanating from him, characteristic of a great nation. You have seen the current international situation. Some individuals are endlessly probing our limits. Since we possess this undeniable truth that can overpower them, why should we conceal it? Only the truth that is revealed can be deemed as such. Only the sword that is drawn can deter those restless foes. Rather than allowing them to speculate, it is better to boldly show them. Let them understand that the Dragon Nation is no longer the bullied entity it once was. Thus, Commander Nye's voice rang with conviction. This press conference will be jointly organized by the Divine Machine Industrial Group and the Longyuan Group. You will not only unveil the courier drone, but also represent the nation in showcasing our Xianbird. Let the world once again feel the impact of the Dragon Nation. After hearing these words, Yi Bai felt a rush of exhilaration coursing through him. What a remarkable assertion that only a revealed sword can intimidate the adversary. This is the spirit befitting a great nation. Furthermore, the light in Yi Bai's eyes grew increasingly bright. A nuclear-powered courier drone, combined with a space strategic bomber. If these two were unveiled together, the shock value he could garner would surely soar. Double the joy, double the impact. All right, no problem, Yi Bai replied enthusiastically. Commander Nye, Rest assured, I will ensure this press conference is conducted with great grandeur, allowing the entire world to witness it. After concluding the call with Commander Nye, Yi Bai had yet to fully process the sudden double delight when a call from Zhao Weidong of the Divine Machine Industrial Group came in promptly. Director Yi, I've just received an urgent notice from higher-ups. Zhao Weidong's voice brimmed with unprecedented excitement. The higher-ups have instructed that we will publicly showcase the Xianbird space strategic bomber soon. This marks our first formal appearance since the establishment of the Divine Machine Industrial Group, as well as our first opportunity to present our core capabilities to the world. I am aware, Yi Bai replied calmly, nodding. Commander Nye has already briefed me on this matter. However, Yi Bai shifted the conversation. Chapter 447, Unveiling Hidden Technologies. Old Zhao, I have 2 requests regarding the schedule for the press conference. First, although this is a joint event, the press conferences for the Divine Machine Industrial Group and Longyuan Group must be strictly staggered. They cannot occur in the same session. Even if one is in the morning and the other in the afternoon, there must be a clear time separation. On the other end of the line, Zhao Weidong appeared taken aback, puzzled. Director Yi, wouldn't it create a stronger impact to hold them together? It could even facilitate mutual traffic. That is out of the question. Yi Bai interjected, firmly dismissing the idea. What type of entity is the Divine Machine Industrial Group? It is a state-level strategic military enterprise, with the highest level of confidentiality. While Longyuan Group also operates under state ownership, it primarily targets the civilian market. If we host these two together, what if outsiders mistakenly believe we blur the lines between military and civilian, or if courier companies perceive our drones as overly complex and hesitate to purchase? Moreover, the unveiling of the Xianbird is a serious political mission intended to deter adversaries. Mixing it with a courier drone release would diminish its solemnity. Zhao Weidong contemplated Yi Bai's reasoning and found it quite sensible. Understood, Director Yi. Your considerations are thorough. We shall proceed with the plan. The Longyuan Group's product launch will be scheduled for the morning, while the Divine Machine's Xianbird unveiling will take place in the afternoon. This way, we achieve both non-interference and a full day of media bombardment. Exactly. Yi Bai nodded in satisfaction, his mind racing with possibilities. Separation is advantageous. It will be 2 distinct press conferences, each generating its own wave of audience engagement. First, we will captivate attention with the nuclear-powered courier drone, and in the afternoon, we will seize the spotlight with the Xianbird bomber. This is the essence of maximizing impact, yielding triumphs on 2 fronts. After hanging up the phone, Yi Bai promptly logged into his social media account and, following the previous announcement from the Longyuan Group, posted an exciting update. Brothers, this is just the beginning. In 3 days, alongside the morning's delivery marvel, there will be an even more formidable and explosive unveiling of a national treasure in the afternoon. Curious about what the future of warfare truly looks like? Eager to discover just how formidable the Dragon Nation's trump cards are? We shall meet in 3 days. Beneath the text, Yi Bai thoughtfully included a link to the newly launched official website of the Divine Machine Industrial Group. Upon this announcement, the already vibrant online atmosphere erupted as if a depth charge had been detonated. Countless internet users flocked to the previously unheard of official website of the Divine Machine Industrial Group. However, upon opening the webpage, they were left utterly astounded. The entire site featured no flashy advertisements nor excessive promotional language, only a stark black background and several prominent sections. In the product display area, visitors were astonished to find the globally shocking Kunping strategic transport aircraft prominently featured. Moreover, the designated organization is none other than Xinji Industry. It must be astonishing to have been incorporated. If I recall correctly, it previously belonged to the Longyuan Group. Even more intriguing is the presence of a product category named Chungying beside the Kunping. Although specific images and parameter descriptions are absent, with only a vague black silhouette available, the mere name sends all military enthusiasts and science fiction fans into a frenzy. Wow, Xinji Industry. That name sounds incredibly powerful. Kunping actually belongs to them? What could this Chungying be? Judging by the silhouette, could it be a mech? It must be a mech. I have a strong feeling about this. How magnificent. Brothers, I have a bold idea. Do you remember the rumored Nanchunman project? Yes. I thought of that too. Chungying is the name of an ancient legendary sword. The naming style is strikingly similar to the Nanchunman project. Could it be that the nation is indeed pursuing the Nanchunman project? The national treasure set to be unveiled this afternoon could possibly be the legendary Xianbird fighter or the Xianbird aerospace mothership. This is too outrageous. If this is true, then our dragon country would be taking off directly. Speculations and discussions online spread like wildfire. Everyone compared the various conceptual designs and data of the Nanshimen project circulating on the internet with the slight clues on Shinji Industries' official website, growing more convinced of the truth with each analysis. 3 days passed amidst anticipation and anxiety across the internet. Finally, the day of the press conference arrived at 9 in the morning. Yibai opened the live stream punctually. In an instant, millions of viewers flooded into the stream, with the barrage of comments becoming so dense that it even caused server lag at one point. Here it comes. Front row. Ye God. Please tell us what is being released this afternoon. Is it a mech? Is it an aerospace mothership? Stop keeping us in suspense. I Haven T slept well for 3 days, just waiting for this moment. First, we'll see the express delivery marvel, and then the national treasure in the afternoon. Today is like a festival for us military fans of the Dragon Country. Amidst the overwhelming inquiries, Yibai maintained his enigmatic smile, waving his hand towards the camera. Everyone, please be patient. Good things take time. We will discuss this afternoon's matters later. For now, let us enter the venue together and see the New Year gift I have prepared for you. Trust me, the surprises of this morning will be just as remarkable as those of the afternoon. At the conference venue, not only were there media reporters from across the nation, but also executives from domestic delivery giants such as Shunfeng, Jingdong, and Santongida. Even international logistics titans like FedEx and UPS sent high-ranking representatives, all sitting upright. Yibai stood at the center of the stage, scanning the eager-eyed business moguls in suits below, a bittersweet smile curling at the corners of his mouth. To be honest, everyone, I genuinely wanted to treat you better. In order to ensure that your packages could be delivered more swiftly, I have laid bare my most profound technologies. Yibai shook his head, revealing a look of helplessness. Alas, sometimes being too kind can lead to misfortune. Who knew my technology would stir up such a whirlwind of trouble? This cryptic opening statement left the executives below utterly bewildered. The heads of Shunfeng and Jingdong exchanged glances, both seeing a gigantic question mark in each other's eyes. What riddle was Yibai trying to convey? Chapter 448, Redefining Dragon Country Speed. What does it mean to want to treat us well? What does it mean that being too good at technology is a mistake? Does this product have some fatal flaw? Or is the price exorbitant? The viewers in the live stream were equally perplexed, their comments flooded with question marks. Is Ye God being cryptic or lamenting? I can't understand this at all. Being too good at technology is a mistake? This has left me speechless. I have a bad feeling. Ye God's tone suggests that the aircraft might have been snatched away. The truth is in the upstairs comments. Look at Ye God's helpless little eyes. He definitely got absorbed by the national team. But if it was absorbed, why hold a press conference? Wouldn't it just be internalized? Perhaps it's a downgraded version? Just as the entire audience and online community speculated about Yibai's cryptic messages, he suddenly reined in his smile, his expression turning serious. Now, without further ado, let me formally introduce the express delivery marvel that I intend to sell to you. As Yibai's words settled, the screen flickered to life. A sci-fi-styled, completely silver-gray drone emerged before everyone's eyes. The Phantom supersonic nuclear-powered drone. Utilizing a miniature cold nuclear fusion reactor as its power source, it boasts near unlimited endurance. If you desire, it can fly around the Earth 100 times without landing. Equipped with a pulse detonation engine, it can reach a maximum cruising speed of 8 Mach. Even to the opposite side of the Earth would take merely the duration of a meal. Its entire body is enveloped in intelligent color-changing stealth skin, complemented by a plasma stealth field. It not only achieves perfect optical invisibility, making it undetectable to the naked eye, but also shields against the vast majority of military radar scans. Truly a presence that leaves no trace. As Yibai revealed this, the previously relatively quiet press conference plunged into a profound silence. The seasoned business magnates in attendance gaped, their eyes nearly popping from their sockets. They had completely forgotten about maintaining their images. Nuclear power. Supersonic. Full stealth. Could this possibly be a delivery drone? After a few seconds of silence, the venue erupted into an uproar akin to a tsunami. No way. Is this real? Nuclear power. Unlimited endurance? Supersonic? If this is used for deliveries, wouldn't it take off? This is madness. Such technology for delivering packages? It's far too extravagant. I can't believe it. A nuclear-powered drone for deliveries. Ye God. Are you serious? This is ludicrous. I knew it. I knew the marvel that Ye God referred to would be extraordinary. This is not just a marvel. It's a miracle. Finally, I understand what Ye God meant earlier. To treat you well, he genuinely intended to provide you with nuclear power and stealth technology. But being too good at technology, so much so that even the military is envious, means they cannot allow you to use it freely. If this were truly sold to a delivery company, Shunfeng could establish the strongest air force in the world by tomorrow. Can you believe that? Haha. Yi God is being too cryptic. Observing the shift from shock to fervor among the delivery giants, only to see them quickly turn to regret as they realized this national treasure would undoubtedly be appropriated, Yi Bai's smile widened. It seems everyone understands my implication. Yi Bai shrugged, his tone laced with a hint of jest. Indeed, as you all surmised, such a fully fledged drone, integrating nuclear power, supersonic speed, and full stealth, has indeed caught the attention of the national team due to certain uncontrollable circumstances. Upon hearing this, a wave of regretful sighs arose from the audience. The head of Shunfeng couldn't help but shake his head in dismay, a pained expression on his face. If he could acquire this fully fledged drone, even at a high price, he would willingly sacrifice everything to establish a true Shunfeng Air Force. At that time, global delivery would be unmatched. Who could stand against them? Alas. However, Yi Bai's tone suddenly shifted. Although the complete version is no longer available for purchase, driven by my unwavering dedication to our domestic logistics industry, I engaged in earnest discussions with my superiors. Of course, my significant influence played a crucial role. We have decided to release a stripped-down version for everyone. Upon hearing the term stripped-down version, the audience's eyes momentarily sparkled, only to quickly dim again. After all, everyone understands that such modifications often imply a comprehensive reduction of core functionalities. If only the stealth feature were removed, that might be acceptable. However, should the nuclear power and supersonic capabilities also be eliminated, reverting to conventional fuel power and subsonic speeds, what fundamental difference would there be compared to current drones? At best, it would merely fly slightly faster and consume marginally less fuel. I knew it. They must have cut the nuclear power. That technology is too sensitive for civilian use. Supersonic capabilities are undoubtedly gone. There's no way the government would approve civilian supersonic drones. Forget about stealth. What would delivery personnel need invisibility for? To steal packages? It's probably just an enhanced version of a Long Eagle drone that saves a bit of fuel and flies faster, nothing more. Let us disperse. The stripped-down version isn't worth the hype. We might as well wait until the afternoon. Observing the disparaging comments scrolling across the big screen, Yi Bai refrained from rushing to rebut them. I understood their thoughts. They undoubtedly believed that since it was a stripped-down version, it would mean replacing nuclear power with fuel, locking supersonic speeds at subsonic levels, right? Though the executives in the audience remained silent, their expressions clearly indicated their acquiescence. If that is what you think, you underestimate me. Yi Bai, and the resolve of our nation. Yi Bai slammed the podium with fervor. I hereby solemnly declare, our stripped-down version of the Phantom drone, designed for the domestic market, has merely removed the stealth feature. Beyond that, it retains the miniature cold nuclear fusion reactor. Therefore, it still boasts infinite endurance. Additionally, it is equipped with a pulse detonation engine. It still supports supersonic cruising. Our goal is not merely to deliver packages, but to redefine what it means to embody the speed of the Dragon Nation. With these words, the atmosphere in the entire conference hall erupted. The logistics magnates, who had previously sat in their chairs, disheartened and resigned to reality, suddenly perked up, all standing in unison. What? The nuclear power is retained. The supersonic capabilities are preserved. How is this possible? Mr. Yi, you're not joking, are you? The country truly permits civilian nuclear-powered drones to take flight. Chapter 449. The times have changed. Oh my goodness. Yi Bai is incredible. The nation is magnificent. They've merely stripped down the stealth feature. The nuclear power and supersonic capabilities remain. This is utterly outrageous. In the future, if I order a pair of socks for $9.99 with free shipping, they'll be delivered by a nuclear-powered drone at supersonic speeds. This is extravagance at its finest. Truly hardcore. Shunfeng and Jingdong, the giants of domestic logistics, were particularly exhilarated, their faces aglow as they envisioned their companies dominating the global market. However, amidst this jubilation, the atmosphere in a few corners seemed awkward. These were representatives from foreign logistics giants like FedEx, UPS, and DHL. They had come to observe or seek collaboration. But with Yi Bai's announcement of retained nuclear power and supersonic capabilities for the domestic market, their expressions darkened considerably. Infinite endurance powered by nuclear energy. Supersonic delivery worldwide. If Dragon Nation's logistics companies truly equipped themselves with such remarkable technology, it would deliver a devastating blow to their traditional fuel-powered aircraft, constrained by air rights and fuel consumption. Would there still be a place for them in the international logistics market? While they were still processing this disheartening news, Yi Bai spoke again. Of course, dear friends from abroad, do not despair too greatly. Although the core technology of our drone is indeed quite advanced, I am a fair person. Therefore, all of the aforementioned configurations, including nuclear power and supersonic capabilities, are solely for the domestic market. As for the international market, considering the sensitivity of certain nations toward high-tech products, and in the interest of maintaining world peace, we have decided to implement a second round of reductions for the export version. The export model will forego nuclear power, reverting to conventional high-performance fuel engines. Supersonic cruising will be eliminated, with a maximum speed capped at 0.9 Mach. The stealth feature will, of course, be absent. Simply put, it will be an ordinary drone that flies slightly faster and consumes marginally less fuel. However, its performance will still surpass that of 100 of fixed-wing drones internationally. With this declaration, the room erupted once more. The domestic executives were initially taken aback, but soon erupted into even more enthusiastic applause. Their gazes toward the foreign representatives laced with mockery. Where is the fairness in this? This is clearly blatant discrimination. In this manner, the Dragon Nation's logistics enterprises, armed with core technology, would possess an absolute advantage in cost and speed, poised to dominate the global market. Meanwhile, their foreign counterparts would be left to trail behind, eating dust. This is an unfair competition. An executive vice president from FedEx could no longer contain himself, standing abruptly to protest loudly in halting Mandarin. Mr. Yi, this is discrimination. This is blatant technological discrimination. Science should have no borders. Good technology should benefit all of humanity. You cannot deprive us of the right to use advanced technology simply because of our nationality. Other foreign representatives chimed in, their indignation palpable, as if they had suffered a grave injustice. Wow, do these foreign representatives have no shame? When you were blockading us, did you ever mention that science knows no borders? Now that we are thriving, you suddenly start talking about fairness? Where were you all this time? Mr. Yi, don't back down. Stand your ground against them. In response to their protests, Yi Bai's smile gradually faded. Oh, science knows no borders? Yi Bai scoffed, his voice not loud, but resonating clearly through the microphone across the venue. Do you even have the audacity to say that? Let me ask everyone. When your country wielded national power to blockade our chip technology, sanction our high-tech enterprises, and prohibited even a single screw from being exported to the Dragon Nation, did you ever utter the phrase science knows no borders? When your GPS systems cut off our signals, when your aircraft engines enforced technological embargoes, forcing us to start from scratch and gradually ascend to where we are now, did you ever consider benefiting all of humanity? Yi Bai's voice rose, infused with long-suppressed anger. Now, with our own hands and the relentless efforts of countless researchers, we have finally developed something you lack, and you begin to preach fairness? Speak of borders? I'm sorry. In my view, such reasoning does not exist. Science may have no borders, but Yi Bai gestured emphatically to his chest, enunciating each word. Scientists have borders. Entrepreneurs have borders. My roots are in the Dragon Nation. My blood runs red. My technology prioritizes serving my country and my people. This is only right and just. In the past, you sanctioned us, blocked us. Now 30 years of change has come. The times have changed. Gentlemen, the sentiment remains. If you wish to utilize our superior technology, then bring forth your sincerity and beseech us to sell it. Or perhaps one should simply make do with your watered-down version. As Yi Bai's resolute words echoed throughout the venue, a thunderous applause erupted, resonating endlessly. The live stream was ablaze with fervor, with viewers expressing their emotions in a flurry of comments. Tears of joy, vindication, and exhilaration flooded the screen. Well said. This is so satisfying. Yi Bai's delivery is simply explosive. It ignites my passion. 30 years of East and 30 years of West. This is our current confidence. Seeing those foreign devil stunned expressions, I could eat 3 extra bowls of rice tonight. If they can go, so can I. This is the true demeanor of a great nation. Meanwhile, the previously aggressive foreign representatives, under the weight of Yi Bai's righteous rebuke, turned pale, speechless, ultimately retreating to their seats, too intimidated to utter a word. At this moment, Yi Bai stood under the spotlight, his peripheral vision inadvertently scanning his system panel. Observing the surging numbers, he felt an overwhelming joy within. In just a single press conference, fueled by the concept of nuclear-powered delivery and a patriotic outburst, the shock value surged by a staggering 2 billion. This was largely due to the global live broadcast of the event. Yi Bai and Long Yuan Group were no longer the obscure players they once were. Even across the ocean, merely mentioning Yi Bai's name would send shivers down the spines of both capital tycoons and ordinary onlookers. Chapter 450. I want to order 100 aircraft. Once upon a time, the once mighty giants Boeing and Airbus lay in the ICU, barely clinging to life. Their plight served as a living advertisement. constantly reminding the world of Longyuan Group's formidable prowess. Thus, when Yibai announced the technical restrictions for international markets, the online world erupted. Discussions about Longyuan drones and technological discrimination dominated foreign social media platforms. Oh my god, what kind of thieving logic is this? Why must we settle for a watered-down version? This is a blasphemy against free trade. Protest. We must petition the White House. We cannot allow the Dragon Nation to be so arrogant. Why should they have nuclear power and supersonic technology while we are relegated to fuel and subsonic? This is unfair. Damn Yibai, he is imposing technological hegemony. Of course, amidst the protests, familiar voices of denial and stubbornness emerged from abroad. Unable to accept the reality of Dragon Nation's technological supremacy, they desperately sought angles for a hollow victory. Huh, you really believe this? Nuclear-powered drones? What a joke. Exactly. If such technology existed, he would have sold it globally by now. Who would turn down money? Not selling to us means their technology is lacking. They must fear exposure. Or perhaps this thing has fatal flaws. Just wait, this so-called miraculous device is bound to be a colossal firework, crashing soon after takeoff. As long as I don't believe it, it must be false. The Dragon Nation could never produce such a thing. Wake up, fools. Look at the current civil aviation market. The Longyuan Model I passenger aircraft has already rubbed Boeing and Airbus into the ground. Longyuan Group is the new world leader. Even if Yibai offers a watered-down version, compare the current drone specifications. Even the diluted performance still outclasses all our existing products. Is it that hard to admit others' excellence? If we continue this self-deception, we will truly become a third-rate nation. More direct than the comments from netizens was the reaction of the capital market. Even before the press conference concluded, although the stock market across the ocean had yet to open, pre-market trading was already a bloodbath. The stock prices of major international logistics giants like FedEx, UPS, and DHL plummeted. Particularly hard-hit were those companies that had invested heavily in drone logistics, claiming to be technologically advanced, with their stock prices halved. Investors who had hoped to profit from the drone concept were left dumbfounded. Countless foreign stockholders, witnessing their accounts turn a ghastly green, lamented online, cursing Yibai's ancestors. Damn, my pension is gone. Damn Yibai, why release a new product at this time? Are you a devil? I shouldn't have believed those analysts. What logistics giants? They are a joke in front of Longyuan. Is anyone up for a jump from the rooftop? Observing the chorus of despair online, Yibai felt no sympathy, finding it rather amusing. This is the marketplace, akin to a battlefield. When you were harvesting the world with your technological advantage. Did you ever consider that today might come? Curse all you want. The more vehemently you protest, the more it signifies your pain. And this is just the beginning. Ignoring the lamentations and curses from foreign investors, Yibai remained indifferent. What harm is there in a few insults? It wouldn't cost him anything. And it could even contribute to his shock value. What is not to enjoy? He refocused his thoughts on the domestic logistics company executives, whose expressions were filled with excitement. These individuals were the true patrons of the day, the future forces poised to transform the logistics landscape of the Dragon Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Yibai cleared his throat, his smile dimming slightly as he adopted a more serious demeanor. While the aircraft is remarkable, and although we have yet to discuss pricing, I have a small request before we officially commence sales. Upon hearing the word request, the prominent figures in the audience, poised to take out their checkbooks, momentarily halted. Their expressions a mix of confusion as they looked at Yibai. A request? What does President Yi intend to do? While they pondered, Yibai slowly continued. My request is quite simple. Given that this aircraft is equipped with nuclear power, it implies that fuel costs are virtually negligible. With supersonic capabilities, the time cost is minimized to the extreme. Therefore, Yibai raised a finger, surveying the entire assembly. I require your commitment. From this day forward, you must ensure nationwide free shipping. Shipping fees must be standardized. No more excuses of remote areas not qualifying for free shipping or incurring additional charges. Moreover, I demand that you achieve nationwide next-day delivery. No longer should our brothers in the West, who are also citizens of the Dragon Nation, suffer delays of several days or even a week due to geographical reasons. They should no longer endure such grievances. Boom. As these words left his lips, the entire venue fell silent for a second, then erupted into thunderous applause. The live stream was set ablaze. Countless viewers from Western provinces, upon hearing this, were moved to tears. Tears. I am genuinely touched. Yibai's words resonate with my heart. I am from the Xinjiang province. Every time I see not eligible for free shipping while purchasing, it truly pains me. We are also part of the Dragon Nation. Why should we be treated differently? Yibai is righteous. This is what a true entrepreneur looks like. This is genuine concern for the people. Nationwide next-day delivery. Nationwide free shipping. If this can be achieved, eBay would be like a reborn parent to me. Support eBay? If those courier companies dare not comply, I will never use them again. So heartwarming. eBay not only innovates with black technology, but he also remains grounded, thinking of us, ordinary people. You deserve to prosper. Although the logistics company owners were caught off guard by eBay's firm request, they soon reconsidered. The savings from nuclear power. The time saved through supersonic travel, combined with the tremendous payload capacity, regardless of nationwide free shipping or next-day delivery. These costs can undoubtedly be covered. And there may even be profits to be made. Moreover, by agreeing to these terms, one stands at the moral high ground, aligning with public sentiment, which is invaluable for enhancing a company's image. Mr. Yi, no problem. Shunfeng has agreed. The CEO of Shunfeng was the first to rise, waving his hand grandly. As long as this aircraft performs as you describe, we will provide nationwide free shipping and next-day delivery. I want to order 100 units. Chapter 451, Hypersonic Bomber, 15 Mach? With a leader stepping forward, the other companies were not to be outdone. Jingdong has also agreed. Not only will we provide next-day delivery, but same-day delivery as well. I want 100 units. Santong and Yida will join in too. We want 200 units. A group purchase. In an instant, the press conference resembled a bustling marketplace. With these normally aloof business magnates fervently competing, their faces flushed with excitement, fearing that if they hesitated, the opportunity would slip away. 100 units? 200 units? This is extravagance personified. The media reporters and online viewers were left in disbelief. Wow, is this the purchasing power of the magnates? Like buying cabbage? Mr. Yi hasn't even announced the price yet, and you are already calling out orders? Aren't you afraid he will ask for a fortune? Are you foolish? A nuclear-powered aircraft. Even at several billion, it's still a profit. This is a strategic resource. This is outrageous. I've only seen such scenes during Singles Day. Observing the fervor of these executives, Yibai smiled and raised his hand, signaling for silence. Ladies and gentlemen, please, there's no need to rush. Since everyone is so supportive of my proposal, I certainly do not wish to disadvantage you. As I mentioned earlier, our products from the Dragon Country are known for their exceptional quality at reasonable prices, with no deception. Yibai held up 2 fingers and announced the figure that drove everyone into a frenzy. The nuclear-powered unmanned transport aircraft will have a uniform price of $200 million. Boom. The venue erupted once more. $200 million. So affordable. Goodness. Nuclear power. Supersonic capabilities. Selling for only $200 million. This is incredibly generous. Buy. Buy. It must be purchased. Anyone who doesn't buy is a fool. The comments in the live stream were filled with astonishment. $200 million? That's just over 10 billion in RMB? That's practically a bargain. Is Mr. Yi engaging in charity? This is a nuclear-powered aircraft. Exceptional quality at reasonable prices. This is the true pride of our nation. It's over for foreign courier companies now. Just as the morning's press conference for the delivery marvel concluded and the online buzz had yet to fade, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the press conference for Shinji Industrial Group commenced punctually. Yibai reappeared on camera, maintaining his calm demeanor. Good afternoon, everyone. Were you satisfied with the appetizer this morning? If not, that's all right, for what we present now is the main course. The live stream comments flooded in. Satisfied, absolutely satisfied. Mr. Yi, stop keeping us in suspense. We had nuclear-powered drones this morning. What do you have for us this afternoon? This atmosphere is certainly extraordinary. Indeed, it was extraordinary. This time, the audience was not composed of business moguls clad in suits, but rather a group of military giants adorned in uniforms, proudly displaying their ranks. Commander Nya from the Central Theater Command sat prominently in the front row with an air of satisfaction, as if this were his domain. Next to him was Commander Peng from the Southern Theater. Furthermore, while the Eastern, Western, and Northern Theater Commands did not send their commanders, they dispatched representatives of the rank of Major General, all sitting upright and solemn. The scene and the lineup instantly captivated the online viewers. Wow! The 5 major theaters are gathered. Is that Commander Nya and Commander Peng? 2 commanders? Is this a press conference or a military meeting? The specifications are astonishing. I have a feeling that what is being unveiled this time is going to be explosive. Do you think the theaters will act like this morning and call out orders for 100 units? You wish. Military purchases aren't so hasty. Do you think it's a market for buying vegetables? Observing the familiar yet unfamiliar faces in the audience, Yibai took a deep breath, his expression becoming uncharacteristically solemn. Esteemed leaders and esteemed viewers, today we unveil a national treasure, codenamed Xianyao. As his voice resonated, the screen transitioned to reveal a colossal, pitch-black aircraft, reminiscent of a monstrous beast from the abyss, silently hovering in the sky. It bore no vertical stabilizers. Its streamlined fuselage seemed to merge with the surrounding space, exuding an oppressive aura. The Xianyao strategic nuclear-powered bomber. Yi Bai's voice thundered through the speakers. Equipped with a miniature cold fusion reactor, it boasts infinite endurance. As long as the pilot can withstand it, it can remain airborne indefinitely. Fitted with plasma vector propulsion engines, its maximum speed exceeds 15 Mach. It achieves true global reach within 1 hour. Featuring full-spectrum quantum stealth skin and adaptive optical camouflage, it is undetectable by radar and invisible to the naked eye. It is the true ghost of the skies. Not only can it conduct strategic bombing within the atmosphere, but it can also breach near space for transcontinental strikes. Boom. With this series of parameters revealed, the entire venue fell into a profound silence. Except for the already informed Commander Nya, who remained composed and even slightly amused, everyone else, including Commander Peng from the Southern Theater and the major general representatives from the other 3 theaters, were left stunned, their expressions blank. Nuclear power. 15 Mach. A space-based bomber. Is this our aircraft? Is this real? Commander Peng suddenly turned to stare intently at Commander Nya. Old Nya, did you know about this? When did we develop such an impressive piece of technology? Witnessing Commander Peng's incredulous expression, Commander Nya felt a surge of delight. He crossed his legs and spoke in an exceedingly nonchalant tone. Oh, old Peng, there's no need to be so excited. It's just a nuclear-powered bomber. What is the big deal? This thing has already flown several times in our Central Theater Command. It's quite all right. You. Commander Peng glared at Commander Nya, nearly choking with indignation. This is utterly infuriating. Clearly, Yi Bai initially rose to prominence in the Southern Theater, and in terms of relationships, he belongs to them. Yet now, such a significant asset has entirely benefited the Central Theater. Even the initial testing was conducted there. Old Nya, don't act all innocent after reaping the benefits. Commander Peng was beside himself with rage, pointing an accusing finger at Commander Nya. Yi Bai is one of us from the Southern Theater. You're hijacking it. A blatant hijack. Oh, what is wrong with hijacking? Commander Nya chuckled, unperturbed, and even more smug. Chapter 452. The Southern Skygate Plan? Do not believe rumors. Do not spread rumors. Who made Yi Bai's factory situated in the capital? And where is the capital? That is the territory of our Central Theater. Grasping the advantage of proximity, don't you understand? You. Watching these 2 generals squabble like children below the stage. The viewers in the live stream were in fits of laughter, further solidifying their belief in the value of the Xianyao bomber. If it could provoke such a rivalry between 2 commanding officers, it must truly be a remarkable innovation. After the introduction of the performance parameters of the Suanio nuclear-powered strategic bomber, the atmosphere at the press conference remained vibrant. But it seamlessly transitioned into the question-and-answer segment, as per the established protocol. Journalists from various major media outlets were unable to contain their eagerness. Yi Bai casually pointed to a reporter from a central media outlet seated in the front row. Hello, Mr. Yi. We noticed that besides the Kunpeng and Suanio unveiled today, there is a prominently featured section on the Xinji Industrial Group's official website, codenamed Qingyi. There has been persistent speculation online regarding the Nanximen project, which includes a tactical mecha referred to as Qingyi. Could you clarify, Mr. Yi, if the Qingyi on the website is indeed the mecha associated with the rumored Nanximen project? Upon hearing this question, silence enveloped the room and the live stream as countless pairs of eyes fixated on Yi Bai. However, after processing the query, Yi Bai displayed a perplexed expression. What is this Nanximen project? My dear reporter, have you been indulging in too much science fiction? He waved his hand dismissively, firmly denying the allegations. We have no Nanximen project, and I have never heard of such a plan. The state has no such project. This is purely the imagination and fabrication of netizens. As for what you refer to as Qingyi, it is simply a rather ordinary army uniform. As you all know, while Xinji Industry specializes in military technology, we must also advocate for comprehensive development. We cannot solely provide the Air Force with exceptional aircraft like the Suanio and Kunpeng while leaving our army brothers envious, can we? Our army has toiled for many years. It is time for them to don new attire and enhance their individual combat equipment. Thus, Chunging is essentially a set of slightly more protective and multifunctional individual combat uniforms, commonly known as military attire. This statement elicited an uproar from the audience, with viewers in the live stream bursting into laughter. What the hell, military attire? Mr. Yi, do you take us for fools? What kind of military uniform is called Qingyi? And why does it share a name with the Nanximen project? Veterans of the army feel utterly betrayed. I wore camouflage. And the current soldiers don mechas? Mr. Yi, don't ask, it's just military attire. Although this uniform is a bit thick, a bit rigid, and powered by nuclear energy. Haha, slightly better protection means it can withstand tank shells? Slightly more functions mean it can go to space? Although Yi Bai's explanation was riddled with inconsistencies, his earnest delivery made it difficult for anyone to challenge him. The reporter, clearly taken aback by Yi Bai's response, hesitated before pressing on. But Mr. Yi, as a leading industrial group specializing in advanced weaponry, isn't the garment industry, even if it's military attire, outside your core business scope? Transitioning from bombers to apparel seems rather vast, doesn't it? Faced with this skepticism, Yi Bai's expression darkened, and he retorted with displeasure. Dear reporter, your perspective is somewhat narrow. Who says that manufacturers of bombers cannot produce clothing? Does light industry not qualify as industry? Textile technology and material science are also jewels in the crown of industry. Shinji Industry is committed to enhancing the combat effectiveness of the entire military. From large aircraft to small garments, as long as it can protect the lives of our soldiers, we shall produce it. This is what we call a comprehensive industrial chain layout. Do you understand? Silenced by Yi Bai's rebuttal, the reporter could only awkwardly take his seat. Observing the audience's incredulous expressions, Yi Bai cleared his throat and adopted a solemn tone to impart a lesson. Dear friends, I understand your concerns regarding the nation's defense construction and your aspirations for future technologies. However, let us refrain from baseless speculation and avoid discussing unrealistic concepts. Mechas and aerospace motherships belong only in films. Science advances step by step. We must remain grounded and not aim too high. Similarly, do not fall prey to online rumors. Much of the information online is false, concocted by marketing entities seeking attention. Please trust the notifications from official State departments. Everything should adhere to official releases. Just as I stated that there is no Nanchaman project, there truly is none. I assert that Qingying is military attire. Thus, it is military attire. Trust in science, trust in me. As the audience observed Yi Bai, whose face bore a sincere yet nonsensical expression, alongside the barely contained laughter of Commander Nye beside him, the viewers in the live stream came to a profound realization. After bidding farewell to the media and military dignitaries, the press conference, which had buzzed all day, finally concluded. Yi Bai returned alone to his office at the Black Technology Factory. Although physically fatigued, his spirit was exceptionally elevated. Throughout the day, the two press conferences not only successfully publicized the Phantom drone and Suanio bomber, but also significantly boosted his influence, now reaching an astonishing figure. With ample resources at hand, whether for ship modifications or advancing the Nanchaman project, Yi Bai felt optimistic. He was about to contact Commander Nye to arrange his schedule, planning to head to Tianjin the next day to inspect the newly completed secret dock and begin preparations for the next major project. After all, reconstructing a warship is far more complex than an aircraft. The sooner work commenced, the sooner results could be seen. However, just as he was about to make the call, his phone suddenly rang. Yi Bai paused, picking up the phone to see caller ID. Mom. Oh dear, did I dial the wrong number? Is this still our family's esteemed scientist's phone? I thought Yi Bai, the busy individual saving the world and working on that Nanchaman thing, had forgotten he has parents back home struggling with the wind. Hearing this resentful opening, Yi Bai awkwardly rubbed his nose. Clearly, his mother had watched the press conference. Mom, you know how it is. I've just been swamped lately, juggling aircraft and press conferences. I just wrapped up and was about to call you and Dad to check in. Cut the act. Lin Chushua huffed, though her tone softened noticeably. You may be busy, but as parents, even if we can't help much, we understand. However, forgetting your parents is one thing, but what about Linger? Such a wonderful girl. Such a stunning beauty. Are you really planning to let her go? Yi Bai, upon hearing this, silently grumbled. Can I be blamed for that? Wasn't it you who insisted on keeping Ling? Mom, I realize my mistake, he replied, maintaining a sincere front. When you both arrive, I will make it up to Linger. I will be by her side every day, all right? That's more like it, Lin Chushua said with satisfaction. Over the past month, their relationship had not only thawed, but had also grown significantly closer. By the way, Mom, how are things going with Dad's company? Rest assured, with your substantial funds backing us and your current status as a national treasure, who would dare to cause trouble for the Yi family? Lin Chushua replied, her voice brimming with pride. Your father has completely come around. He cleared the debts and restructured the company. Now the Yi Group is fully operational. Even better than before the incident. That's great, Yi Bai sighed in relief. Well, Lin Chushua continued cheerfully, your father and I discussed it. Now that the mess here is sorted, it's time to visit you in the capital. We've booked our tickets, and we'll be flying in about 3 hours. We should arrive at the capital airport by tonight. Remember to come and pick us up when the time comes. Today, really? Yi Bai was pleasantly surprised. It is truly rare for these two to remember their son. However, glancing at the documents on the table regarding the Jinmen shipyard, Yi Bai couldn't help but feel a tinge of regret. It seems that the plan to repair the ship in Jinmen must be postponed. At the very least, he would have to wait until after the new year. Ensuring his family is settled and reconciling the old accounts with the Lin family in the capital before he could free up his hands. Nevertheless, sharpening the axe does not delay the work of cutting firewood. With this thought in mind, Yi Bai locked the documents in the confidential cabinet, donned his coat, and strode out of the office. Prepare the car. To the airport. At the International Airport of the Empire, in the VIP reception area, Yi Bai stood there, though slightly concealed by sunglasses and a mask. Yet, his tall stature and the confidence radiating from him still attracted the attention of passers-by. Before long, three familiar figures emerged in his line of sight. Leading the way was his father, Yi Nantian. At this moment, Yi Nantian had shed the despondency he displayed at the auto repair shop. Dressed in a well-tailored designer suit, and with his hair meticulously styled, he exuded confidence and appeared radiant, even seeming more robust than before due to his good spirits. Beside him, Lin Shushua, elegantly draped in a delicate qipao and an expensive shawl, showcased grace and nobility in every gesture. She seemed to have regained her former self, appearing no older than her early 30s. Standing alongside Yi Bai, one could easily mistake them for siblings. Following the couple was Sun Ling, still embodying her innocent charm. But her eyes sparkled with excitement at seeing her beloved. Witnessing this scene, the heavy weight that had been hanging over Yi Bai's heart finally lifted. Everything was well again. Dad, Mom, Linger. Yi Bai removed his mask and hurried forward, embracing his parents warmly before gently taking Sun Ling's hand. You little rascal. You actually remembered to come pick us up. Lin Shushua laughed as she patted her son's shoulder, her eyes brimming with affection. Let us go home first. Yi Bai took the luggage and led everyone to the waiting luxury vehicle, heading straight to the high-tech factory. He had not purchased any property in the empire and had been residing in the factory's dormitory area. Fortunately, the place was spacious, and given the current circumstances, nothing felt safer than this. Moreover, its remote location meant that, with Yi Bai's current security level, venturing into the city would indeed be quite conspicuous. As the convoy entered the outer security zone of the high-tech factory, the sight of guards stationed every few steps, along with armored vehicles and patrolling soldiers, made Yi Nantian and Lin Shushua gasp in astonishment. Although they had heard Yi Bai speak of it before and had seen news reports, witnessing such a display in person was hard to fathom. Goodness, this is no ordinary factory. Yi Nantian marveled at the armed sentries outside the window. Son, your current standing is likely greater than that of provincial leaders, isn't it? Lin Shushua echoed his astonishment. Of course. Just look at who his mother is. Now he is a national treasure. Upon arriving at the living quarters, Yi Bai had someone arrange the rooms, and Sun Ling took Lin Shushua to rest and catch up on some personal matters. Meanwhile, Yi Bai led his father, Yi Nantian, to his office. Pouring a cup of tea for his father, Yi Bai, observing the rejuvenated countenance of his father, wasted no time on pleasantries and got straight to the point. Dad, since you are here and the company is on the right track, we should discuss some serious matters. Yi Nantian paused, his hand holding the teacup hesitating slightly, his expression shifting. Although the primary purpose of their trip to the Empire was to engage with international capital, he felt uncertain about taking action. Those international investors had nearly driven the Yi family to ruin, and this debt could not simply be forgotten. And then there was the Lin family in the capital. Yi Bai disregarded his father's concerns, his tone growing colder. The way they humiliated my mother and forced her out of the family, we must settle this debt. With interest. Seeing his son's resolute determination, Yi Nantian's apprehensions dissipated considerably. After all, looking at the armed guards outside the window and considering his son's status as a national treasure, he felt a newfound courage to stand tall. All right, if you are confident, then I will follow your lead. What specific plans do you have? How do we proceed? Yi Bai turned around, contemplating for a moment before speaking. While we must address the Lin family's grievances, we cannot rush. Before confronting the Lin family, we need to deal decisively with the international capital. Furthermore, if the Yi Corporation can capitalize significantly from the international capital, when you stand at the Lin family's doorstep, you will be able to stand even taller, won't you? After all, the Lin family once looked down upon you, deeming you unworthy of my mother. This return is not just for my mother's dignity, but also to allow you, as her son-in-law, to strut proudly in front of them. Such a face-slapping moment must be personally delivered by you for maximum satisfaction. Yi Nantian felt warmth in his heart upon hearing these words, igniting a fierce determination within him. The disdain and humiliation suffered in the past would be avenged through their own strength. Otherwise, no matter how formidable his son became, a part of him would always remain unsettled. All right, let us take the fight to those foreign devils first. Yi Nantian nodded firmly. So what do you plan to do? Yi Bai explained his strategy to Yi Nantian. Dad, as you have seen, Longyuan Group has just unveiled its Ghost nuclear-powered drones. Although the launch event has concluded and online buzz is growing, it is still just a launch event. Until those aircraft are fully operational and capable of offering nationwide next-day delivery, the major logistics giants in the international capital market, such as FedEx and UPS, may have seen their stock prices dip, but they have not hit rock bottom. Many are still observing, believing this might just be a gimmick or thinking we cannot keep up with production, thus not affecting their global market share in the short term. At this point, a cold glint flashed in Yi Bai's eyes. This is our opportunity. Taking advantage of the fact that the actual performance of the aircraft has yet to be fully realized, and that these international giants are still holding on. We will enter the fray and take a short position. I will reach out to Shunfeng and Jingdong, since they have ordered the aircraft. They are naturally our allies in this venture. Together, we will aggressively expand new business domestically while simultaneously coordinating with the international financial market to short sell. Once the first batch of aircraft is delivered and the first nuclear-powered delivery arrives, the stock prices of those international giants will undoubtedly plummet like a roller coaster. And the Yi Corporation merely needs to prepare sufficient funds, establish positions, and then sit back and count the profits. After hearing his son's plan, Yi Nantian let out a long sigh of relief. This is no gamble. It is a golden opportunity. With core technology backing us and alliances with major domestic logistics firms, this is a sure-win battle. Excellent. This plan is solid. Yi Nantian slapped his thigh, excitedly declaring, "You need not worry about the funds. The 600 billion you provided last time still has 100 billion left, and with the funds the company has recouped during this period, plus leverage, raising a few $1 billion will be no issue. This time, let us father and son join forces and teach those bloodsuckers a lesson." Observing his father's eager demeanor, Yi Bai smiled. A few days later, a sensational announcement erupted across domestic networks. Major logistics giants such as Shunfeng, Jingdong, and the Three Links and One Reach unexpectedly united to issue a statement. The declaration was vehement, directly accusing Longyuan Group of making grandiose promises while suffering from severe production deficiencies. They claimed that the previously assured nationwide free shipping and next-day delivery plans were forced to be shelved due to Longyuan Group's failure to deliver even a single drone. We express profound skepticism and regret regarding Longyuan Group's delivery capabilities. Upon the release of this statement, the internet was abuzz. Shortly thereafter, Longyuan Group's official account swiftly responded with equal fervor, rebuffing the logistics companies, asserting that their pressure tactics were futile, and insinuating that the logistics firms were not adequately compensating them, effectively barring any attempts at cutting in line. The exchange escalated into a fiery war of words online, leaving netizens in disbelief. Wait, are they really at each other's throats? Just days ago, they were calling each other sweethearts and ordering 100 drones. I told you. How could nuclear-powered drones be so easy to produce? Clearly, their output can't keep pace. Longyuan is indeed faltering. They boasted grandly, but can't deliver. Isn't this just a show? What's the rush? It's nuclear power we're talking about. Do you think it's as simple as making bicycles? Low production is quite normal. Exactly. Good work takes time. Yi Shen must be biding his time for a grand reveal. However, this unfolding drama presented a golden opportunity for the lurking 1450 and foreign netizens. It's been exposed. I told you it was a sham. They can't produce anything. The so-called nuclear-powered drone is a scam. Longyuan Group is a fraudulent company. Look, this is what Chinese manufacturing is all about. They can only boast, but when it comes to action, they fall flat. Meanwhile, across the ocean, seeing Longyuan Group ensnared in a crisis of production and trust, international logistics giants such as FedEx and UPS sensed an opportunity. They promptly released significant announcements. FedEx declared it would introduce the latest Boeing cargo planes. Although lacking nuclear power, they emphasized stability and reliability as the future of logistics. UPS, not to be outdone, proclaimed a partnership with a military-industrial giant, promising to soon implement the latest supersonic transport technology. Their new offerings would far surpass Longyuan's PPT planes. With these announcements, coupled with Longyuan Group's downward spiral, foreign capital markets soared. The stocks of several major international logistics companies, which had previously plummeted post-Longyuan's press conference, began a frenzied rebound, climbing rapidly. Within half a day, not only had they regained their lost ground, but they also reached new recent highs. Countless foreign investors and institutions, witnessing this surge, were moved to tears, fervently proclaiming American logistics as the best in the world, branding Longyuan a paper tiger. In the Black Technology Factory, Yi Bai gazed at the computer screen displaying the vibrant upward trends of foreign stock markets, particularly the graphs of those logistics giants, and felt elated. These foreign investors truly flourished with a little encouragement. Initially, he had thought he would need to exert effort to entice them further, but they were cooperating splendidly. This pig was fatter than he had anticipated. Since they relished creating momentum, he decided to assist them further, sending them soaring. Yi Bai set down his teacup, picked up the phone, and initiated a group call with several domestic logistics tycoons. Everyone, well played. Yi Bai teased with a smile. You flatter us, Yi Zong. We're merely aligning with your strategy, the Shunfeng CEO replied, equally enthusiastic. The external discourse has reached a fever pitch, and those foreign investors have indeed taken the bait. Chapter 455. The net begins to tighten, A-shares soar. Let us stoke the flames further. A glimmer of cunning sparkled in Yi Bai's eyes. Lao Wang, Lao Lu. Arrange for people to hit the foreign networks and major financial forums and fervently promote those foreign giants. Assert that Longyuan is finished, that Chinese logistics is doomed, and that the future belongs to FedEx and UPS. Push their stock prices even higher. As for our own stocks, coordinate to release some pessimistic financial forecasts or announcements of executive sell-offs to drive our stock price down. The steeper the drop, the better. We want everyone to believe we're truly in dire straits. Understood. Just watch us, Yi Zong. The logistics leaders nodded in understanding. All too aware that while this self-destructive strategy appeared daunting, they understood that the more severe the current decline, the more vigorous the rebound would be. Moreover, they could take advantage of this opportunity to complete stock buybacks, ensuring that when Longyuan Group's aircraft deliveries commenced, they would recoup all losses. With Yi Bai's command, a meticulously orchestrated financial hunt officially entered its climax phase. The stocks of several domestic logistics giants plummeted, painting the market a dismal green. Meanwhile, across the ocean, the celebrated international giant's stock prices soared amidst jubilant cheers. Half a month slipped by swiftly. The streets of the capital were adorned with red lanterns, the festive spirit growing increasingly palpable. Yet, for the global financial market, this fortnight had been a revelry. Under the collaborative momentum of Yi Bai and the logistics titans, the stock prices of those foreign logistics behemoths had skyrocketed to an absurdly high level. Countless foreign investors and institutions were frantically buying in, even resorting to loans and leverage, as if owning these stocks could guarantee their financial freedom. Conversely, over here, the stock prices of major logistics companies continued to decline, with a chorus of online criticism, as everyone believed Longyuan Group had truly overreached this time. In the Black Technology Factory, Yi Bai observed the looming peaks of the red lines on his screen, letting out a cold laugh. The pigs had been fattened. It was time to slaughter the year's pig. He picked up the phone, first dialing his father Yi Nantian's number. Father, it's about time. Those international capitalists are in high spirits now, and their positions should be fully loaded. Let us strike. Short them hard. Sell as much as you can. On the other end of the line, Yi Nantian could hardly contain himself. All right, this time, I want them to regurgitate every cent they've swallowed. After hanging up, Yi Bai swiftly contacted Shunfeng, Jingdong, and Jiang Chumo from the Baitan Wang Group. Everyone, the time to net is upon us. Unleash all your firepower. Strike hard. Understood, Yi Zong. We've been waiting for this moment. With Yi Bai's command, an expansive net was rapidly drawn tight. Concurrently, Longyuan Group, which had been at the center of the media storm, unexpectedly issued a momentous announcement without prior warning. Without unnecessary verbosity, they released a segment of video footage. In the video, rows of pristine, ghostly nuclear-powered drones stood uniformly on the tarmac, appearing countless at first glance. The scene quickly transitioned. These drones launched skyward like arrows released from a bow, their tails emitting bluish flames, tracing arcs across the sky before swiftly vanishing into the clouds. The accompanying text was succinct. The first batch of 300 Ghost nuclear-powered drones has been fully delivered. Thank you to all our partners for your patience. Within a minute of this announcement, Shunfeng, Jingdong, and the 3 Lynx and 1 Reach logistics giants, as if in agreement, simultaneously released their own statements. Thank you for Longyuan Group's technological support. Thank you, Yi Zong, for your generosity. From this day forth, Shunfeng Express formally enters the nuclear power era. We solemnly promise, nationwide, whether in cities or villages, whether east or west, all shipping is free. All parcels will arrive the next day. Some core cities will see same-day delivery. The recent announcement of a 50% reduction in shipping costs has sent shockwaves throughout the online community, catching many off guard. Previously critical voices condemning the Longyuan Group for its perceived inadequacies were left speechless, as they beheld the vast fleet of drones and the promise of nationwide free shipping with next-day delivery. This was not merely a matter of insufficient production capacity. It was clearly a grand reveal. 300 nuclear-powered drones produced within a fortnight? It was as if they were being churned out like dumplings. Who knew how many production lines Longyuan Group had activated? After a brief moment of astonishment, public discourse ignited, particularly among netizens from the western provinces. The promise of free shipping and rapid delivery brought tears to their eyes. Expressions of gratitude flooded social media, and the narrative quickly shifted to one of praise for the visionary leadership of Yi Shun and the Longyuan Group. The entire nation reverberated with excitement. A 50% reduction in shipping costs, coupled with a significant increase in efficiency, represented a tangible boon for every online shopper. In an instant, the topic of gratitude towards Yi Shun and the Longyuan Group surged to the top of trending discussions, drowning out all previous negativity. Meanwhile, across the ocean, foreign investors reveling in soaring stock prices were suddenly confronted with this unforeseen turn of events. The sight of a rapid deployment of nuclear-powered drones extinguished their smiles, replaced by a chilling sense of despair. Longyuan Group was not only surviving but thriving, poised to drastically reduce logistics costs. In the face of such a disruptive force, what hope remained for the so-called international giants? The stock market, previously buoyed by lofty valuations, plummeted like a kite cut from its string. An epic collapse ensued as the financial markets reacted swiftly to the announcements from Longyuan Group and major logistics firms. Prices of domestic stocks like Shunfeng and Jingdong skyrocketed, hitting their limits as if launched by a rocket. As the market opened, it was an immediate surge, with no opportunity for investors to even catch their breath. Prior to the announcements, several logistics magnates had heeded Yi Bai's counsel and significantly increased their stakes at lower valuations. This surge in stock prices transformed their fortunes, leaving them elated in their offices. However, this was merely the beginning. Longyuan Group issued a firm statement in response to certain international logistics companies' unfair competitive practices and malicious defamation. The announcement outlined sanctions against FedEx, UPS, and DHL, declaring an indefinite cessation of drone sales to these companies. The ramifications were catastrophic for foreign markets, leading to a further plunge in stock values. Billions of dollars in market capitalization evaporated within mere hours, leaving once mighty international giants in utter despair. The cessation of sales, even of scaled-down models, meant the loss of their foothold in the future logistics market. In stark contrast, those who had strategically positioned themselves for a downturn, including Yi Bai and his associates, found themselves exhilarated as their accounts reflected extraordinary gains. Simultaneously, a digital storm brewed online. Those who had previously derided domestic capabilities and placed their bets on foreign corporations were now confronted with the harsh reality of their losses. Unable to accept their folly, they lashed out at Yi Bai, accusing him of market manipulation and questioning the motives behind the sanctions. Yet, before Yi Bai could respond, a chorus of domestic supporters swiftly countered with righteous indignation, lambasting the critics and defending national pride and technological advancement. In the midst of this fervor, Yi Bai's private phone rang, and upon answering, he was met with the exhilarated voice of Yi Nantian, who excitedly reported on their monumental financial success. The profits from their short-selling strategy had far exceeded expectations, and they had become significant stakeholders in several key logistics companies, thereby gaining influence over the entire logistics sector in the nation. Yi Bai rejoiced at the prospect of having both financial resources and strategic power, which positioned them advantageously against the Lin family in the capital. The future looked promising, and with newfound confidence, they were prepared to navigate the challenges ahead. However, now that we are well equipped with ample resources, when do you plan to pay a New Year's visit to the Lin family? Yi Bai inquired lightly. On the other end of the line, Yin and Tian fell momentarily silent. Logically speaking, such matters should be addressed without delay. Yet, with the new year fast approaching, tradition dictates that the son-in-law visits on the second day of the new year. Let us set it for that day then. All right, I shall heed your suggestion. Yi Bai nodded in agreement with the arrangement. This year, our family will celebrate the new year in the capital. Perfect. Let us invite Sun Ling and Hong Ying to join us. The five of us together will surely bring about a lively atmosphere. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Upon hearing this proposal, Yin and Tian exclaimed 3 times in approval. Having our family gathered together is far better than anything else. I will arrange for the New Year's supplies and purchase a larger villa. so we can celebrate comfortably. On New Year's Eve, in a luxurious villa on the outskirts of the capital, the lights shone brightly. Outside the window, fireworks illuminated the night sky, while the interior was filled with warmth. On the morning of the first day of the new year, an automatic mahjong table stood in the center, the sound of shuffling tiles echoing constantly. 3,000. Peng. Haha. I'll take that. 5 dots. Yi Bai, Yinan Tian, Lin Shu Shui, and Sun Ling were gathered around the table, engrossed in an intense game. Zhang Hongying sat nearby, observing their play. After all, she was still in her final year of high school and refrained from joining in the mahjong game, preferring to watch. Dad, your luck seems extraordinary today. Another self-drawn win? Yi Bai remarked, unable to contain his teasing as he glanced at the cards his father laid down. Hee, that's what we call the spirit of happiness. Our Yi family is indeed blessed this year. Yinan Tian joyfully collected his chips, his face beaming with delight. Lin Shu Shui shot him a glance. You feel no shame celebrating winning your son's money? Chapter 457. A visitor from the Lin family? What nonsense. Yinan Tian waved dismissively. Winning is a result of skill. Just as the family was enjoying their time together, preparing for the next round, Lin Shu Shui's phone, resting beside her, suddenly rang. She glanced at the caller ID, and the smile on her face instantly vanished, replaced by a flicker of disdain in her eyes. Yi Bai perceptively noticed his mother's unusual demeanor and paused his actions. Mom, what's wrong? Who's calling? Lin Shu Shui took a deep breath, seemingly trying to compose herself before answering the call. Though she did not switch to speaker mode, Yi Bai could still faintly hear the voice from the other end. As the conversation progressed, Lin Shu Shui's expression grew increasingly grim. All right, I understand. A few minutes later, Lin Shu Shui coldly replied and hung up the phone. Mom, what is going on? Yi Bai asked, frowning. Yinan Tian and Sun Ling also halted their actions, concern etched on their faces as they gazed at her. Lin Shu Shui set down her phone. It was a call from the Lin family. They somehow learned that we are in the capital and said they want to come visit. At this revelation, both Yinan Tian and Yi Bai's expressions shifted simultaneously. Come to visit? Yi Bai scoffed. I see it as a weasel wishing a chicken a happy new year, with ill intentions. Since they are so eager to seek out trouble, let us not be courteous. Dad, prepare to receive guests. Before long, the sound of car engines roared outside the villa. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, several black Maybachs with Beijing A license plates slowly entered the courtyard and parked at the entrance. The car doors opened, and a group of people emerged. Leading the way were 2 elderly individuals, sprightly yet carrying an air of arrogance. Yi Bai's maternal grandfather, Lin Jinshan, and grandmother, Wang Xiulan. Following them was a sharply dressed, haughty middle-aged man, Yi Bai's uncle, Lin Yaozong, accompanied by his snide wife, Chen Meifeng. Upon seeing these individuals, although Yinan Tian felt a pang of discomfort, they were still his elders and his wife's family. He had to maintain decorum. Taking a deep breath, he donned a relatively warm smile and hurried forward. Dad, Mom, on this festive occasion, why trouble yourselves to come in person? Yinan Tian extended his hand, aiming to assist Lin Jinshan. However, Lin Jinshan merely cast a fleeting glance at him, refusing his gesture, and walked directly into the villa's grand hall. This scene left Yinan Tian's outstretched hand suspended awkwardly in midair before he sheepishly withdrew it. Lin Shu Shui followed closely behind Yinan Tian, and though she too attempted to greet them with a dad, Mom, her expression was far from pleasant. Clearly, she harbored nothing but disdain for these so-called relatives. Upon settling into the living room sofa, the atmosphere grew tense. Lin Yaozong, lounging with his legs crossed, shamelessly surveyed the villa's decor before fixing his gaze on Yinan Tian and Lin Shu Shui. Sister, I must speak candidly. Lin Yaozong began, his tone filled with condescension. Why did you insist on eloping with this man and endure hardship in a small place like Huadu? Look where that has led you. Now, the Yi Corporation has been brought to ruin by international capital, drowning in debt. This is what happens when one ignores the advice of the elders. Enough pretending. Mom and Dad have come this time out of pity, offering you a chance. Pack your things and return home with us. The Lin family is not lacking in providing you a meal. If you sever ties with this man, you may still reclaim your status as the Lin family's esteemed daughter, which is far better than struggling alongside him. As soon as he finished speaking, his wife, Chen Meifeng, chimed in with a mocking tone. Indeed, Yaozong has your best interests at heart. Just look at Yinan Tian. What capabilities does he possess? He appeared promising at first, but now, faced with a bit of adversity, he floundered, nearly losing everything to international capital. Chen Meifeng cast a disdainful glance at Yinan Tian, her eyes filled with contempt. He once boasted so boldly before us. claiming not to underestimate the young and impoverished, but now it seems he's merely a decorative pillow, attractive yet utterly useless. If you can't bear to part with him, there is another option. If he is willing to submit, obediently return to the Lin family as a son-in-law. Serving us daily, we may still provide him with some sustenance. After all, even a dog requires a bone or two, doesn't he it? This venomous remark not only humiliated Yin and Tian, but also trampled Lin Chushui's dignity. Lin Jinshan and Wang Xiulan, seated in the main position, remained silent, their expressions indifferent, clearly endorsing their son and daughter-in-law's statements. To them, the downfall of the Yi family was an established fact. Yin and Tian now resembled a stray dog, and allowing him to return to the Lin family as a son-in-law was already a monumental favor. Yin and Tian clenched his fists, his face darkening as his chest heaved with indignation. Just as he was about to retort, Lin Chushui beside him erupted. Chen Meifeng, mind your language. Lin Chushui sprang to her feet, pointing an accusatory finger at Chen Meifeng. Her pent-up anger from years past erupting in a torrent, devoid of any subtlety, purely emotional outburst. When my son was struggling, I endured your taunts. Now that my son has made something of himself, should I continue to tolerate you? Wouldn't that render his success meaningless? Who do you think you were to stand there and lecture me? Back in the day, how many underhanded schemes did you employ to marry into the Lin family? Even playing the role of a mistress for 3 years to climb the social ladder? Everyone in the capital knows this. Now that you wear a few designer labels and adorn yourself with jewelry, do you truly believe you have transformed into a phoenix? I'll tell you this. You are but a lowly bird, and even if you manage to cleanse your past, you remain merely a fowl. And you? Lin Chushui turned her fiery gaze upon Lin Yaozong. What qualifications do you possess to speak of Nantian? While Nantian built a billion-dollar empire from scratch, you were still squandering your parents' money abroad. Regardless of whether the Yi family is truly in distress, even if we were to beg, we would not be able to approach the Lin family's doorstep. Get out. All of you leave. Witnessing her mother's fierce demeanor, Yi Bai felt a bit bewildered. Is her mother really this formidable? If memory serves, she had always appeared submissive in front of her father. Meanwhile, Yin and Tian observed the scene with a look of familiarity, likely accustomed to his mother's confrontations with his aunt. Chapter 458, Changing Yi Bai's surname? Under the pointed accusation of Lin Chushui, Chen Meifeng's face turned a deep shade of crimson, her lips quivering, struggling to utter a single word. After all, Lin Chushui's words were scathing and struck at the very core of her being. The long-buried grievances were laid bare in public, akin to being stripped naked and cast into the streets, utterly humiliating. A suppressed laugh escaped from Zhang Hongying and Sun Ling, who were spectating nearby, particularly Zhang Hongying. Stemming from a military lineage where her entire family had sacrificed for the nation, possessed an inherently straightforward character. She had long harbored disdain for the sarcastic aunt, and was now eager to applaud Lin Chushui's commanding presence. Sun Ling also chuckled softly, her gaze towards Lin Chushui, brimming with admiration. Truly, this is the mother-in-law I respect. Her fighting spirit is simply unparalleled. Enough. Just as the atmosphere became unbearably tense, Lin Jinshan, who had remained silent, bellowed with authority. Has my daughter truly shown no growth over the years? Her mannerisms are sloppy, and her speech lacks decorum. How disgraceful. Lin Jinshan glared sternly at Lin Chushui, his tone filled with gravitas. Raising one's voice in front of the younger generation is utterly unbecoming. Have you no sense of upbringing? When you left home for this man, I considered you dead to me. Do you now see the kind of man you chose? Is this the happiness you desired? Lin Jinshan snorted coldly, gesturing towards the window. You are more aware than I of the current state of the Yi Group. Those international investors are not to be trifled with. They have already started treating the Yi Group as mere fodder. The situation is dire, and a reckoning is imminent. When the time comes, not only will the company be lost, but this villa and the stable life you currently enjoy will vanish into thin air. Are you prepared to wander the streets with Yin and Tian? To toil and repay debts together? At this juncture, Lin Jinshan softened his tone, as if offering Lin Chushui a final chance. Return home with me. If you are willing to humble yourself, the Lin family can still provide for you. However, in the face of her father's intimidation, Lin Chushui showed no sign of fear. Instead, a cold smile crept across her face, radiating disdain. She stood tall beside Yin and Tian, clutching her husband's hand tightly, her gaze unwavering as she faced Lin Jinshan. Wandering the streets? Toiling for debts? What of it? At least this is the path I have chosen. At least the man by my side is a pillar of strength, not a worthless parasite relying on family connections. Even if that day truly comes, I would embrace it willingly. You, stubborn and unyielding. Lin Jinshan trembled with rage. At this moment, Wang Xiulan, who had been silent, finally spoke. Compared to Lin Jinshan's sternness, her tone was slightly more tempered, yet it still reeked of condescension. Chu Xue, do not take your father's harsh words to heart. We only wish the best for you. You have been pampered since childhood. How could you endure hardship? Yinan Tian is indeed in a state of decline. That is a fact. People aspire upwards while water flows downward. You cannot risk your entire life for the sake of love, can you? Heed your mother's advice and return with us. As for Yinan Tian, if he truly struggles, the Lin family can afford to extend some charity to him. Mother. Lin Chuxue interrupted sharply. If you are here to persuade me to leave Nantian, spare me your words. Seeing Lin Chuxue so unyielding, Chen Meifeng seized the opportunity to interject with her usual sarcasm, wanting to reclaim some dignity. Silence. Lin Jinshan shot her a fierce glare. You disgraceful wretch. Compared to Yinan Tian, you are far less impressive. Were it not for the grandson you bore for the Lin family, you would have long been cast out. Do you truly think you have a place to speak here? Chen Meifeng recoiled, her neck shrinking in response to the reprimand, retreating to a corner, too intimidated to speak further. Nonetheless, her eyes still held a condescending glint as she regarded Lin Chuxue. What pretense of superiority? When the Yi family truly collapses, I shall relish watching you return to us, begging for our help. You will have your share of suffering. Meanwhile, Yi Bai, observing Lin Jinshan and Wang Xiulan's self-righteous demeanor, and listening to their disparagement of his father, could no longer contain himself. Even a clay figurine possesses a measure of spirit. How much more so a man of national significance like Yi Shun? There are certain truths that his father, as a son-in-law, might hesitate to confront directly. But as a grandson, he had no such reservations. Just as Yi Bai inhaled deeply, preparing to express his thoughts, Lin Jinshan suddenly turned his attention towards him, appraising him with a scrutinizing gaze. So this is Xiao Bai? Lin Jinshan spoke in a neutral tone. Chu Xue, after your divorce from Yinan Tian, bring Xiao Bai back to the Lin family. Change his surname to Lin, so he can acknowledge his ancestry. The bloodline of the Lin family must not be allowed to stray, nor should it suffer alongside the Yi family. As these words fell, the once tense atmosphere in the living room fell into a profound silence. Yinan Tian's face turned ashen, his fists clenched tightly. Lin Chuxue trembled with fury, staring incredulously at her father. What is the meaning of this? Not only does he intend to tear apart her family, but he also seeks to take her son away and change his surname. In that moment, Yi Bai's expression turned icy. He stepped forward, positioning himself protectively in front of his parents, locking eyes with Lin Jinshan. I believe you are mistaken. I shall only bear the surname Yi. I have borne it in the past, I bear it now, and I shall continue to bear it in the future. As for the so-called identity of the Lin family, I have no interest in it, nor do I require it. Impudent. Lin Yaozong suddenly stood up, pointing at Yi Bai and reprimanding him. How dare you speak to your elders in such a manner? This is how you were raised. To be asked to change your surname to Lin is a mark of favor. It is a blessing. Do not be ungrateful. Do you even comprehend what the Lin family represents? Once you enter the doors of the Lin family, you shall live a life beyond your wildest dreams. Few families in the entire empire dare to compare with us. We are the true elite. In the face of Lin Yaozong's tirade, Yi Bai merely scoffed derisively. A life beyond imagination? The so-called elite Lin family? I apologize, but in my eyes, the Lin family is nothing remarkable. You, witnessing Yi Bai's unwavering defiance, even daring to mock the Lin family, Chen Meifeng erupted once more. What significance does the secretary of Dakong hold? Ah, such grandiosity. You must understand your own worth. What position does our Lin family hold in the empire? Even Commander Nie of the Central Military District must show deference to us. And what of the district chief of Jinghai? Have you heard of Secretary Dakong? He is a genuine high-ranking official. Recently, he sought to meet your grandfather. But that was a request that could not be fulfilled no matter how hard he tried. You, a rustic bumpkin from the countryside, dare to look down upon the Lin family. Truly a frog at the bottom of a well, unaware of the vastness of the world. Upon hearing these words, Yi Bai almost could not contain his laughter. Commander Nie shows reverence towards the Lin family? Secretary Dakong yearns for their favor? Such boasts are utterly ridiculous. Although the Lin family does possess some heritage, it merely allows for casual conversation with someone of Commander Nie's caliber, stemming from politeness and decorum, hardly deserving of the term reverence. As for Secretary Dakong, as the head of the Jinghai district, he is far removed from the Lin family. How could he possibly lower himself to seek an audience? This is clearly just gilding one's own reputation. At that moment, the villa's intercom system suddenly crackled to life. The voice of the security guard came through. Mr. Yi, there is a visitor at the door who claims to have come to pay you New Year's greetings. Oh, who is it? Yi Bai casually inquired. He says his name is Dekong. Hearing this name, Yi Bai raised an eyebrow, a hint of a playful smile curving his lips. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. However, before he could respond, Chen Meifeng let out a sharp, derisive laugh. Dekong? In this day and age, the world is indeed vast, with all sorts of characters. He can't even choose a proper name, yet dares to share one with the head of the Jinghai district? Yi Nantian, could this be yet another one of your dubious acquaintances, or a beggar from your impoverished relatives? How dare you bring such riffraff home? Riffraff? Just as Chen Meifeng finished her scornful remark, a voice emerged from the entrance. Madam, are you referring to me as riffraff? Everyone turned to see the security guard escorting a middle-aged man dressed